so many of these free picks walking through those smokes, trying to prevent and slow down the execute. We're going to go back to another trap play here from Global Esports, but this time they're gambling that wrong site. That's information going to be had really quick, while the whole rest of the roster of AG are on the side of B.
Orb tapped, trying to bait out some kind of trap. They just had to deal with one in round previous. Build himself closer to a showstopper here. Crystal looking for some toes, not crossing mid just yet.
Looking for some dogs.
Yeah?
Running towards running towards that. They have a nice little setup here towards A main. That Marshall gonna be able to spot any contact here. Sanky running right into it. Actually whiffs the shot. Udo tries to get another one. Peeks through those double walls. Patman stuck on this corner. GRQ has there to support him. Patman with a pick onto Shrimp, and all of a sudden it looks like they're not getting any of these picks that they're trying to. Pushing forward the confidence from Udo.
Yep, that's a little bit more like it for Global Esports.
वो शायद लाइव चैट में उनका ही चैट दिखाना पड़ता लग रहा है.
Still able to clean up all of the damage relatively easily. Haven't had too much of a contest just yet.
वो एक बार चालू कर
Sunset pick
और
for
अपन अपना
Global
चैट तो
Esports
अपने
is
चैट में
really
लिख
going
ही
to
सकते
test the
हैं
limits of all gamers output. Nothing really too exciting coming out compositionally from either of these teams. It is a double duelist off with a slight difference in the choice. There are pros and cons to both. The Phoenix very strong in this meta, but Raze is a classic on this map.
I think too, when I'm looking at Shrimp, Udo's been so phenomenal. I really like the idea of having a lot of those C's made trap plays towards their defense side when they do switch over here for AG. Gun round on block, trap towards mid, running out of market. It's Avi gets the pick onto buy, and all of a sudden this round has kind of fallen apart for AG. They need to do something with these weapons.
One trade back from Kira. That was just such a perfect curveball paranoia with the haunt for the scan to open up an early pick for Global Esports, and they're not done just yet. Dark cover towards bottom middle. Harvey going to take matters into his own.
हाँ देख तो मैंने डिस्कॉर्ड पे स्ट्रीम करा ना उसमें होता क्या है कि आधी डिस्प्ले में तो वो वीडियो चलती है और छोटी जगह पे लाइव फुल स्क्रीन पे खुला नहीं रहता लाइव चैट राइट में ऊपर ऑप्शन कर क्या बताता हूँ तो मैं YouTube को फुल स्क्रीन कर
जा रुक जा 1 मिनट रुक.
Crystal has got a gorgeous deep cam and a one-way if this push comes in, and I think all gamers may struggle to get into the site here if Crystal is well positioned.
Yep. Patman towards that A site. He has a prowler too, and that haunt is back up for him to scan.
अरे सुन भाई तू जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी तो कुछ स्किन करेगा
Because that weak side
तेरा काम मैं आसान कर दूंगा
fully set up here, like you said. Yes, he's
अबे रुक जा 1 मिनट.
Any of those close trips. Prowler comes in, doesn't get anyone. They're giving up that site and planning to play retake. They have a lot of really good retake util on Patman with the fade dog and that fade eye.
He's work onto market side here for all gamers. Patman applying pressure for the flank. GRQ
अरे हुआ था.
भाई सुन मेरी बात सुन इसे कट कर जो तू इन्हें खोल के बैठे चैट को कट कर इसे फुल स्क्रीन कर ये बात मान एक बार मैं बात मानूं समझ जाएगा तू अपने व्यूअर्स से फुल स्क्रीन कर YouTube में जो है वीडियो को
an easy one for Shrimp. All gamers, it was getting a little bit
Hello,
sweaty, but
Sanky.
it looks like they are well and truly on top of this one.
भाई से जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी इसको कर रहा है
Maybe not in clean as a fashion as they would have liked to, losing Kira there.
फुल स्क्रीन कर पहले प्लीज YouTube को
Global Esports still well and truly in on this one. Look how much economy they
बे चैट क्लियर दिखाई देगी यार
but really it's looking to be death by 1,000 cuts if possible. All gamers will celebrate.
यार तुम पता है तुम लोगों का वीडियो वैसे करके बैठे हैं जैसे मैं बताना चाह रहा हूं
Yeah, 3 weapons down. That's a little bit too expensive. We're going to have at
देखा
best that light armor coming on.
मैंने कैसे साइड में खोल रखा है ये लाइव चैट
अबे मेरे को किधर दिखेगा मैं स्ट्रीम कर रहा हूं बे
तो एक मेरी बात सुन अपने जो YouTube पे स्ट्रीम कर रहा है
कैसे बदलूं
अरे बदलना नहीं है तू एक काम कर तुझे फुल स्क्रीन कर अपने YouTube को जो भी है उनका
What was it? 5 total? 5 total versus that might be off.
अभी दिख रहा है ना सही
I have to be honest.
अरे भाई मेरी बात मान जी तू मेरा डिस्कॉर्ड का स्ट्रीम देख मैंने कैसे दोनों खोल रखा है देख
ये वैसे भी वो लोग कुछ डिस्कस कर रहे हैं ना तू डिस्कॉर्ड ये कर सैंकी बीआरपी पे डाल दे बीआरपी पे डाल तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता अपने को बीआरपी डाल एक बार
मैं क्या बोल रहा अभी दिख रहा फुल स्क्रीन करने के बाद ना क्लीन दिख रहा है
वही तो मैं कह रहा हूं क्लीन फुल स्क्रीन करने का चैट खोल दे इनका लाइव चैट
के वांदे ना लग जाए भाई।
है ना, उनका लाइफ सेट खोलते हैं ना, आधे उसमें आ जाएगा।
towards that B main where
बेटा
Kira's
हम तो इधर सिर्फ 1/3 स्कीम यूज होती है, बाकी 1/3 तेरी लाइव सेट वो 1/4 उस पे जाती है।
पूजा मेरे को आवाज बढ़ाने दे स्ट्रीम का।
दो जगह दिख रहा है मेरे को वीडियो तो।
And Kira ready for the regression
chat
to be
ना।
made if that was going to be on the cards, but
अरे
as
ते
it
वो लाइव
stands,
सेट
Autumn has
लाइव
been
सेट
taking
में कुछ
this
तो
A
करो।
info line very nicely, and the rotations already coming in for GE
बात
as all
है,
gamers
BRB
prep
पे
themselves
डालता
for the B execute.
but it's okay.
ये जो
They're
chat है
grouped
ना।
up. But 3 players here on the side of GE already on site. The Prowl is going to come in.
भैया, एक बार कोई तो live खोल के देखो कि आवाज आ रहा है क्या?
Scan, but no
हाँ, जो
one's
भी बातें
connecting
चल-
shots. Kira
हाँ, फिर
getting the
ठीक है,
pick
फिर
onto
चलेगा।
Crystal and Udo. That's 2 for him. And now all of a sudden that default defense has
देख
fallen
जैसे मैंने
apart
खोल रखा
for
है ना,
these
तेरा ये
players.
साइड
Running
खोल
out of
रखा है,
smoke
राइट
is
साइड
Javi, not able to get anything.
अरे मेरे को दिखा के क्या होगा रे? मेरे को दिखा के क्या होगा? वो देखना सैंकी को चाहिए।
But he's very low on HP. Yeah, clean round here as all gamers, and they're all still kind of trapped inside of the site. Global Esports very much playing for exits at
तूने
this
कैसे
point.
खोला है? वापस
Up
दिखा?
picked up by Kira.
मैं दिखाता हूँ, देखो तुम लोग गौर से देखो कितना क्लियर दिखाई
DRQ
देगा।
barely
यहाँ पे ये
clinging
देखो,
to
ये दिख रहा है,
life,
ये
and they're
वाला।
going to choose the
ये देखो
path of least
आधे पे ना
resistance,
पूरी ये
pushing
चलती है,
over
कितना
here
क्लियर
in
है देखो।
towards defense spawn. That's going to be fantastic.
ओह, हाँ हाँ, मेरे को भी लग रहा है उससे हो
In this
जाएगा।
game of
या
Sabse,
correct।
should be 5 alive at the end of this one unless they run into pattern.
सैंकी फुल स्क्रीन मार एक बार।
Both
फुल स्क्रीन
teams
मारा और तो पे डबल
definitely
दिखा
have
रहा
done a
है।
lot of work.
Oh, which one?
चैट हटा के
That's
फुल
my
स्क्रीन मार।
favorite thing to do.
Which one?
Oh, it's too late.
I didn't look.
Already
तो
passed.
चैट किधर
The
दिखेगा?
umbrellas?
No, they were dresses.
चैट हटा के फुल
Oh,
स्क्रीन
what
मार।
colors were they?
There was like
उसके
a
बाद
wedding dress. There was like a little.
YouTube पे जाके वो
button,
नीचे देख चैट का एक ऑप्शन आता है नीचे से जो दिखता है वहां से चालू कर।
Oh man. Honestly, that round for GE, I felt like they were in all the right
Right side
positions
में, right
and
side
it
में,
just
छोटा
was
सा chat
not
बनाओ।
clean enough.
yeah,
Like
they're
that was just an
अपना
awkward,
ईमेल क्या है
awkward
अपना?
little exchange. Kira runs into the site and very easily gets a little double
TMM
entry
boys
on
no?
it. Despite
TMM.boys.
good rotation time for GE, you're
TMM
attacking into the
boys
strong
no?
side. The op
ये
and
कहाँ
the
से आ गया
side bar
अचानक से?
are
हम नहीं
both on
भेज।
that side that AG are attacking into.
अरे
Like
वो
you have
कर रहा
everything
हूँ।
you need to hold there as GE,
Setup कर रहा हूँ
and you
वही।
get absolutely nothing done.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just none of the shots were connecting. They were trying to play around those smokes, but just couldn't find anything. And I think now this timeout for GE actually showing to all gamers that that was a round that they knew that they should have won as well. Knowing that they were stacked there, trying to talk about their crossfires or at least make sure they're cleaning up their setups. Because like you said, that macro on that defensive round was really, really good. Almost perfect, I would say, just up until that execute. So maybe talking about maybe the util that they were supposed to use to slow down the execute, to separate, to isolate, or why they just weren't playing together.
I mean, yeah, you would have ideally, especially with the Omen in on the rotation, liked a nice paranoia timing through the site that the players were able to play off, or the op to be able to cleanly trying to find an opening pick. I'm not even sure I heard an op shot, quite honestly, and it felt like Crystal was just on a bit of an awkward angle. Regardless, all gamers will take full advantage of that. A very, very nice follow-up despite not a great start. It feels like they are in full control now. GE getting a little bit of a mid-walk going on. We'll see how all gamers deal with this.
The op on by. Good spot to be in. Holding for this pick. Headman's about to peek that top mid. Gets the pick by putting in the work.
Transport vehicles with transport vehicles with
Really passive. Everyone on all gamers, they're not giving up that numbers advantage now, knowing that GE have been so proactive in pushing and taking contact.
वो
That is
तरीके से
even
चौड़ा
better
चौड़ा
ping on
दिखता है,
Harvey's
टैंकी कर रहा है
line
इस पे
here.
काम।
GRQ very convinced that there could be somebody peeking in from this angle. The spacing is excellent from all gamers. Stinger can only get so much done, let's be honest, and I saw it in the player cam. A lapse of concentration for just a second on Harvey.
चौड़ा चौड़ा तो दिखता है
Just
पता है मेरे
seems,
को पर
seems
वो भी
like
करना ही
GE
पड़ेगा
are
ना।
not quite focused enough here in the opening parts of this
हाँ
game.
वो साइड में
Need
हो
to
जाएगा,
switch on a little
चलेगा
bit more.
ठीक रहेगा,
All
पढ़ने में तो आया
gamers
एटलीस्ट।
just a slow offense, very safe on the anti-ego, but they will be heading towards
अपन
the strong side with
उससे
Crystal
करने
and
के बाद
Autumn
ना
in
तो
tow.
इमेज को ना स्ट्रेच कर।
Autumn's going to be a big
Chori-
player here.
Chori
The
हो
Prowler
जाएगी,
is going to
Chori
catch him
का-
off guard. Those Shrimp immediately shutting down Crystal. 2 kills for Autumn is shut down by Shrimp. And now Udo just running. They're going to hear that. Turning around his Fangir with that off. Gets the pick.
इसका तो
And
देख
it's
इसका तो
just a
चैट
shutdown
ये
here
चैट भी नहीं
for
दिखा
all
रहा है तो
gamers.
Yeah, very simple, very structured, but sometimes those are the best rounds. Don't need to do anything
जो
fancy as
अंकित
all gamers.
पन-
Just hold the angles and give them enough rope to hang themselves with.
दूसरा भी गएगा
Very, very good on this attacking side.
दूसरा वाले में भी वही उन लोगों ने ये नहीं किया
courtesy of that multi-frag from
तो
Autumn.
दूसरे वाले में सिर्फ
Throw some better
display
rounds, taking the time
chat
out
नहीं
in
है,
towards the round
वो वाला
three.
उठाया
Not
होगा।
being their focus. Now we need to start to see the adjustments coming in.
इसमें दिखा रहा हूँ वो
Gun round
नॉर्मली
here
देखो भाई
for
हाँ
both
ये इधर भी
teams.
इन लोगों ने
The
फुल
ults
स्क्रीन है, चैट बट कुछ दिख नहीं रहा है इन लोग के।
Three of
तो
them
रहने दे,
towards the
chat नहीं
side of
दिखाना।
Global Esports,
मेरे को सीधा गेम दिखाना
but
भाई।
they're not playing
इधर
too
भी वो
aggressive
अभी
just yet. Keeping that elbow
अभी
control.
ने भी
Always
फुल
बढ़िया
स्क्रीन
ही
कर
है।
रखा है।
Fangir
हाँ
with
ऐसे रहने दे,
just trying
ऐसे
to
ही
find
रहने
a
दे।
pick, shoots at
तू
the
full screen कर दे,
grabber
full
because
screen
he
कर दे,
thought
हाँ,
it was a
chat उड़ा दे।
gun. Honestly, I would do that same
Chat
thing.
उड़ाओ।
Honestly,
हाँ।
we've all been there.
Well, doesn't allow
रिएक्ट
too
करो
much.
गेम पे।
Good ball out on the line. Udatan dealing with the trip, just spamming away. That's a little bit of a win for GE here, but with all gamers really taking their time spreading them out and looking for a pick, it's
अभी थोड़ा गेम पे
Bas
फोकस
Sanky
करते
and
हैं, देखते हैं
Fangir
क्या
v
चल रहा है।
Udatan, who is all
वो
eyes
ये
on
लाइव चैट
that
हटा देना।
cover. Almost creates an
हाँ
opportunity
हाँ
for
बढ़िया,
Udatan to
चलेगा
take
चलेगा
advantage
चलेगा
of, but
चलेगा।
as has been the case all of these rounds,
ये भी
it's just
ये
not quite
ओवरले में
right.
जाके भी वो
Oh my
लाइव
god,
चैट
that
वाला
sucks.
बॉक्स हटा
लाइव चैट
देना।
वाला हटा दे, वो
HP
सही
on
सही रहेगा,
Fangir. He
इंट्रो
got the dink through the wall, through that box, but it just wasn't enough. And now just regrouping. All gamers, they've been so good at knowing how to end here. That Cypher, though, fully set up on site. They do have this Prowler to break a lot of those nades coming in. The walls in, full execute. The rocket is popped from Kira. He's going to be able to get one fully
वोमन है, दोनों साइड में है भाई।
pick onto Crystal as
इसके बिना
well.
तो गेम ही नहीं है लगता है भाई।
2v5.
ये देख इन लोगों ने
So
इसमें
rough
देख
for Global Esports.
I mean, all
ये
gamers are
मैसेज पे
just
डालता था
rolling
इन
these
लोगों ने
sites.
कैसे मारा है। इन लोगों ने
Similar
सीधा
to what
फुल
we
स्क्रीन
saw
नहीं
against
मारा है।
Heretics, they were
उन्होंने कुछ
pretty effortlessly
फॉलो ही नहीं
able to
किया इन
work their
लोगों
way
ने तो
through the map.
हाँ नहीं वो
Run on into these sites on
बिना
loads
उनका
in
लोगो
particular,
लगाए
and
करोगे तो
find
कॉपीराइट आ
advantage.
जाएगा,
Just saw the
उसी
same
टाइम
thing
बैन
I
हो
said.
जाएगा।
Very well
इन
drilled.
लोगों ने देख
Oh, this squad straight out
ऐसे
of
स्क्रीन
उन्होंने
मारा
जो स्क्रीन
EWC.
किया ना उसमें एक स्क्रीन है
A region
जहाँ पे
where
विदाउट
Autumn
चैट
is
वाला
not
एक स्क्रीन
used
है,
to
लेकिन उधर
losing
लोगो दिखना चाहिए फिर।
unless he's playing EDG.
ओ भाई 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 ओ वो भरती दिसते बिल्डिंग।
4 ults online though.
ये लाइव
for
चैट वाला
GE
ऑप्शन हटा
for
देना।
next round. Autumn just getting a nice little exit there.
वो हटा नहीं सकते रे,
Onto
वही तो
that
प्रॉब्लम है, क्योंकि उनका दिया हुआ
I think
स्क्रीन है
this
वो।
round now, this next round,
अच्छा तो
they're going to be a little
कोई
bit
दूसरा
nervous.
स्क्रीन नहीं
How
दिया
are
क्या
things
उसमें?
going?
दूसरा
Because
स्क्रीन
they're
है,
really
एक
curious
दूसरा
about this.
ताकि वो
Like,
दूसरा
do
स्क्रीन
this into the
डाउनलोड
play.
किया था क्या
Put
तूने,
that knee on her,
जिसमें
pushing aggressive, really taking a lot of that
कुछ भी नहीं है,
space.
सिर्फ एक ऐसे ब्लैंक ही है और बस ये लोगो लगा हुआ है।
Find that
हाँ
first, so just
वही
make
यूज
sure they're
करना
not
उससे
pushing
अच्छा।
into it. Because they've been
वो
punished
दो
by
दो
that now. 2 rounds in a
बार
row.
बार
Behind
दिख रहा है।
in mid, Udo on that
रुक
A
जा, मेरे
main.
को देखना
They're
है,
just getting those
वो
initial
मैं देख
picks,
के
letting them run into
बताता
them
हूँ।
almost every single time.
Yeah, it's a painfully slow offense for all gamers.
मेरा सोआ लिया है क्या किसी ने?
Sometimes those are the hardest kind of rounds to play against.
सोआ मोस्टली नहीं लेते
Just
कोई।
lose concentration a little bit. The
साइफर
other
लेते
team
हैं
had their heads screwed on nicely. And then they're coming in with full confidence, and all it takes is a mistake or two from GE, and things can kind of fall apart. Now we're going to get yet another fight over this A side of the map curve, rather the Molly and the Prowler in combination with the one-way will again secure the one-way.
नॉर्मल का न्यूज़ नहीं करते,
Overdrive
सारी
being
सारी
held
पैसे के लिए
here
यूज़
by
करते हैं।
Udatan, as there are a couple of rifles kept over from the previous round. So once again, a winnable round for GE.
Yeah.
And another
ये ट्राई कर सकते हैं, तू एक बार एक ब्लैंक करके स्क्रीन होगा सैंकी, ब्लैंक।
Setting up Udo once again. towards
उससे
the
रिप्लेस
main.
मार, सीधा फोटो रिप्लेस मार
To
सकता है
figure
ब्लैंक
out
से।
why this B site can't be held with that Cypher util as well. Trying to delay for as long as possible. They have 2 players already set up on this site. And the up down, the high low, top mid here. Patman and Autumn,
भाई
they're just holding
जी
on
तो
here.
तू जी
Udo
कर रहा है,
gets
जी
spotted
जी
out
जी
by
क्यों ही
Fangir.
आगे
They're
क्यों
gonna
नहीं आ रहा है
actually
भाई?
execute.
Yeah,
हाँ ना,
perfection.
तब से
W.
वही देख
Just
लो।
punishing those age-old
शॉट रे।
positions that you're often playing. Patman will go down as well.
इनका
That's
क्या
one of
क्या
the
गन्स
vandals
यूज
that you
कर रहे
want
हैं
to
वो
have
लोग?
in play.
बोले
Autumn
भाई
Vandal
भाई
put on his
और-
रेज
game
में तो
here.
मजा आ रहा है।
Runner back
एक तो
active, and
off
it's
है,
complete
operator है।
disengaged from all gamers.
हाँ।
Now they're running back towards that mid. Not
क्या
going
है
to fully
स्कोर,
execute
स्कोर गार्ड
yet.
क्या
They're
है?
grouping
2-4
B.
छः।
Again, the Cypher util
6
here,
to
but
1
why
है,
not?
अच्छा
It's
था।
worked for them almost
Swing.
every single round. That one-way cage is going to go up. It's going to get blocked by Bai's cage. The Nightmare going online. Fangir getting his 3 kills. Kira
अब
is
इनका ब्रेक
stopped
होगा ना,
by
इनका ब्रेक
Crystal.
होगा तो फिर अपन
2v4
वापस
all of a sudden. They're trying to push this back side. Crystal punishes them. Autumn's there to trade, but
थोड़ी
isn't
देर रहने देते।
able to get anything.
Yeah, 5 in a row for all
कर रहे हो?
gamers. This is looking a little bit too easy. And I'm getting concerned about global esports, especially because of what we saw in their opening game. Feels like Groundhog Day here from one of the hopeful teams out of Pacific.
सब हेड पे भाई, एक
Fangir,
भी
I
शॉट
feel
बॉडी
like
पे
on
नहीं
the
लगते हैं
operator
लोग।
has done such a good job. I think he's one of the main players I was looking at when I was watching them play against Heretics. On his chamber, getting a lot of those opening picks. It was really nice to see, and so I'm kind of
हे वो फेड
worried here for GE
सगळे
as well, in
फेडच
the sense of
वापरतात.
them not being able to push back that operator, constantly getting punished by it. Udo, he's fallen for that same thing. 2 rounds in a row, make it 3 almost. And it's just really hard for me, for GE, to understand how they can adapt. And instead of adapting by not playing there anymore, they've pushed all the way up towards A main.
Yep, both of the duelists on the front foot here. Camera spotted out by Fangi, who was looking a pick towards B main. GRQ trying to disengage there with the paranoia, and Autumn will lose his
like
life.
सब एक ही जगह रश कर रहे हैं भाई.
The trap setups were
Team
working
rush है
for
उनका सब एक
Agar,
साथ.
but now they've just fallen into this trap of overextending themselves almost. Another pick down,
Damn भाई.
making it 4v5 here, and all gamers, they're just gonna sit. They know the re-aggression is coming, but it's
सब
on
आगे आ
the
रहे, A आ रहे
side
सब
of
लोग.
B. Breaking that, it's gonna be a little bit more of information here for all gamers, and they're trying to end towards the safe site. But they kind of have a good setup here, GE. Maybe this is the round that they can win.
Ult
Overdrive
निकाला.
on in, one player on the lurk
Oh,
here for
damn.
all gamers, if he's even needed. Patman alone on the side now as the TP's coming in from Harvey on the other side of things. Big 3K for Patman by flanking up through top middle, catches the Omen off guard, who was looking for an off angle over the spawn smoke. Plant going down. Crystal creeping his way up short. All gamers
Omen कुठे गेला?
just trusting the buddy system over towards
भाई
elbow,
भाई क्या डाला है उसने?
walking together. There is a
Yeah,
mural
ऊपर
threat,
डाला
but
है
Crystal isn't using it. There are bodies over on shore that he could have potentially thrown that on top of, but the hat is still well and truly on. Needs to
भाई
tap the spike
यार
here, trying
दोनों
to bait
साइड
out a
देख रहे
peek.
उसके.
मैं
He's gonna
टेलीपोर्ट
try
मार
to
रहा
go
हूँ
a little
मैं.
bit more aggressive. Jiggled out on elbow side. All gamers well aware of his position now. He doesn't know they're doubled up just yet. And this feels hopeless. All gamers just playing this so hard until they make a critical mistake, and Crystal
क्या बात
capitalizes.
है?
A third round out of nowhere for GE, just off of heroics from
मारा
both Patman and Crystal.
That was
Bye, bye, bye,
crazy.
bye.
I was really concerned when I saw Udo all of a sudden move out of that A link and stand in the open. He got punished.
और
right
ये सब
away.
एक साथ क्यों
But
घुस रहे भाई?
Patman,
एक कुछ
holy
पड़ेगा ना इन
smokes,
लोगों पे.
it was
खत्म एक साथ.
really insane to watch here. That positioning a little bit
क्या मारा
suspicious,
है?
but Patman able to get 3, goes
तो
for
लग रहा है
that
कोलैटिक
fourth.
आएंगे ये लोग.
Of
देख देख
course,
देख
this
मारे.
2K by
ओ
Crystal.
मारा. ओहो
Those are the
उसने वो
kind of
अल्ट
moments
निकाला
that
उसका.
saved them. But again, they were set up somewhat good. They played really aggressive though towards that A main. Got punished once again, so they've switched it up this time. And finally, we're gonna see some B
अभी देख.
aggression right off the bat. And
नहीं जी, ये
leaving
Omen use
alone,
कर रहा
maybe
है.
setting up
सीधा हेड
some
पे भाई.
util to fake
तो
that
ओमेन
pressure.
आत्महत्या था तो.
आई नीचे 10 कदम आ गए वो.
In comes the util. All gamers always ready
यार
for it.
वो
Reaction
नियॉन
from
बहुत
them
बड़ी
is
प्रॉब्लम
looking
थी.
pretty good here. Udatan under pressure. Autumn caught in the corner, just trying to keep himself alive with the curveball, and it's a disengage, but it's an expensive little exchange for GE there that I'm not sure they necessarily got what they bargained for. Yes, they've secured
Hyper
control of
देख.
B main, and they are
अरे
repositioning.
Hyper, क्या
So if they can
कैमरा
try to
लगा
go for a
है
mid
Hyper ने?
walk or a mid crunch later on in the round that works out for them, then maybe
Flash.
that'll be good. But as it stands, they're just spreading the map here and
साइड
resetting.
को दोनों साइड है, ओमन
Shrimp
दोनों
using
साइड है.
that prowler to clear
Neon
all
दोनों
of
side
the
है.
ओमेन
lane.
होता ओमेन
Neon's
यूज ही
still
करते हैं रे
set up
सब लोग.
close, so all gamers gonna slow it down once again because they're waiting
तीन
for
कॉमन है,
some
फेट
sort
साइपर
of
ओमेन.
information. It feels like
और Neon,
GE has
चार
given
हैं.
it to them every single
नियॉन
time.
तो पूरे
the
सब
contact
नियॉन कोई
plays,
नहीं ये नहीं करता
Going
मतलब
towards
सब
this
लोग यूज
elbow
करते
here
हैं
on that A side.
स्टेज को भी
They're
अभी
gonna
कम
be
यूज करने
spotted.
लगते हैं लोग.
Yeah, camera from
Neon
Crystal
Crystal
will
है ना?
confirm that all gamers are inside of elbow. Patman is on shore. That's a nice angle for the nightfall. The cage giving all gamers pause for thought as Udatan has made it up over onto the side. Kira from up on high has a little bit of an off angle. Fangear low on HP. He's already lost his life on the way in. And when will you pull the trigger on the Nightfall as GE here? All gamers are trying to bait it out. Another kill for Udatan. In goes the overdrive and the Nightfall. This is looking like all gamers are getting torn apart here. Great rotations from GE. They are all over that one.
That was really nice. The flood
क्या hold
retake,
किया
all
भाई,
the util
बढ़िया
being
hold
sent,
किया.
just delaying for as long as possible, and that's what they're
इसमें
missing.
सोच इसमें
when
कोई
that
भी अगर वो
cypher is
गलती
sent
ऐसे मैं सब
towards that
करता
B
हूँ
site,
कि
that
रैंडम
really
बीच में आके
well
दूसरों को
done.
ब्लाइंड
They
कर दिया
really
अगर
good
वैसे सब
range timing
क्या
after
लो
that camera was broken towards elbow, just making them slow
क्या ही
down
गाली
a
पड़ता
lot.
होगा तब तो
That's what I like to see
हाँ,
from
पेज
global
जैसे भी एक मारा
esports.
तूने अपने
This
पास
right here, all that
काम तो हो
util,
गया
they're
भाई.
so
देखा
भाई
मैंने.
जैसे तू
low
स्मोक
now
करता
after
है
this, and Shrimp
तू बीच में स्मोक
trying to
करता
go
है
for as many as he can. It just doesn't work out.
पेज कुछ
I think
कहने
now
वाला
we're
था,
seeing
मैं रोक
GE
लिया
play just
उनने.
a tiny
कंट्रोल कर
bit
लिया.
too passive.
यार
But
आगे नहीं
disengage
बोलता
after getting that B main info
ऐसे
was
ओविटा
really
जैसे बीच में ही
important for
स्मोक
them.
कर
They
देता है
set up
बताओ
used a lot of their util
वैसे ही अगर
really
इन्होंने
good,
किया
but they
तो
still
क्या ही
had
होगा
that retake
भाई
point.
मेरे स्मोक एनिमी के
All
फेवर में
gamers
होते हैं.
simplifying this one. A 1-4 with the Cypher on the lurk.
हाँ ना
Gonna creep up into a B site that is right for the
हाँ,
picking.
ये
छः,
इसमें
सात.
इसमें गन्स के ये सब ऐसे
Harvey
स्किन्स
and
वगैरह
Autumn
अलाउड रहते
on
हैं
spawn
वो
side.
बेस
हाँ.
गन्स
Take
ना ना
कुछ नहीं है
सब
here.
इसमें पे टू विन वाला
Ronaldo
कुछ
to
नहीं है
clear
ना,
out all
मतलब
of
वो
front
सब skills
side.
है.
It's a pretty silent approach here.
Yeah.
Harvey though, jumping out the
ये
paranoia.
बना
Fast lane to try to
Omen
disengage. One
Neon
return back
problem है,
from all
बहुत बड़ा
gamers who are
problem
looking
है.
to try to keep Kira alive. I'm not sure that GE
Yeah,
are going to
ultimately
check him on the
क्या
site, quite honestly.
अरे
I
छी
think GE think that all of all gamers
भाई
have been kind of shooed away in towards B main, and
वो
that
ult
is
hit होना चाहिए था
unfortunately
रे.
not the case. Kira
मिस हो गया.
gets the opener from side, swings out on backside, go decently for GE, but they're still in a little bit of trouble here. Yudatan having some impact, but all gamers
फ्लैश वो लोग फ्लैश
trading
होने
out
ही नहीं देते भाई.
effectively enough here. Should be
बहुत
able to
जल्दी
get
से
themselves
ये
into a
स्वाइप
post
मार
far.
देते हैं फ्लैश.
Kira getting 2 from that position on site
हर
after being
time
deposited is
cypher है
actually
भाई,
kind of
रातों.
criminal. The first, yes, element of surprise, but that second he was scanned and everyone knew where he was, still not able to pick him off. And now that spike plant going down, gets the rocket online, and GRQ just peeks Crystal.
6-4 here. It's a nice little approach from all gamers. It felt like they just got into B pretty much for free. And the thing that I'm really impressed with, I mean, their macro is fantastic. I think the macro has been decent from GE, quite honestly, in a lot of these rounds. But they are so good at exactly what you need to be good at on Sunset. You were kind of talking about the breach meta.
Yep.
Trading utility on this map is everything. All of the reactive utility that's quick, that can be used in these bursts, that can be used to kind of bully map control. If you're really good in these kind of mid-round situations where one team's dumping a relay bolt or a paranoia on you and you can respond with the perfect utility, that is exactly what you need to see. In going the rocket, that should be Crystal going down. No Cypher utility. Off angle. Almost good for 3. And now it's just the rest of GE with pistols.
This was actually just a thrifty too for GE, using those hero weapons to try to get as many as they can. Kira getting a pick onto Javi, not allowing them to even go for that retake. The Cypher trip is gonna delay Autumn from being able to go for a fast flank. Udo also unable to shoot that. Roomba, and now 3 players alive for AG. They know where all these players are. As the flash coming in, Shrimp just turns it though. And Udo trying to go for 1, playing ring around the rosy, but isn't able to get it.
Yeah, jump scared multiple times that round, Udatan, unfortunately. And another round for all gamers. This Sunset pick is turning out not to be what GE bargained for.
Yep. Really nice change of pace here as well for all gamers. Even though they knew that they could have been on a thrifty, they still took it fast, and I really liked it. A little bit scary.
भाई जी के सपोर्टर्स आ रहे हैं भाई, जी के और सपोर्टर्स आ रहे हैं. अलीशा भी जी सपोर्टर है. अलीशा ने तो सुपर भेजा है जी सपोर्ट में.
Here, Shrimp on the top of that scoreboard. He's one of those players we talked about. His initiator util has been phenomenal, but also his fragging power, insane. He has that Nightfall online and a mid default here for both of these teams. Autumn pushed down.
Big mid walk. It's looking like really good timing here for Autumn. GRQ will go down for free. Purple onto bottom middle, pushes by away. He's under a lot of pressure. They're dumping everything on him, the kitchen sink included. Autumn's found Fangir in the meantime. And forward with the dives in Udatan. This is all the way of GE. Shrimp didn't even use half his util. He's fighting hard for it, but I'm not sure he's ready for the 3rd man. And GE will scrape together a 5th at the end of that half. I mean, credit to all gamers. They were so good at punishing the aggression all half long, but GE finally caught them.
I think Neon का dash
down
क्या dash.
mid, Javi, really good timing. The second that they turned around, holding that mid from a main, all gamers, they just found someone. Omen pushing all the way through, and now going into the second half here. We talked a lot about the defensive macro from GE, but I think also for me, all gamers, they really shined on their defensive side against Heretics. I see that. Pretty sure they didn't get a single defensive side on Lotus, but that's fine. We don't talk about that map.
Yeah.
We talk about the other 2 maps where their defense was really good. Yes, exactly.
Look, it was an interesting attacking side for all gamers. Nothing sexy, nothing too exciting, but very effective Valorant.
I find Valorant so sexy. Just all the time.
What team has the sexiest Valorant?
No team.
No team? Not MIBR?
Harbor is the sexiest agent, though.
Okay.
Thoughts?
I mean, I can see why you're in full support of Marta now. That makes a lot of sense. You followed that argument to its logical conclusion.
Harbor तो Indian है ना भाई, बड़ी अच्छी लाइन लैंग्वेज है, इंट्रोड्यूस तो रखी बताओ.
And we're gonna get fired.
Harbor Indian है पर सबसे best ना मतलब.
Every day I wake up. Today could be the day. All gamers. They are definitely earning their paycheck here, though. Could have already been through into the progression match in this group, but Heretics were a little bit troublesome for them.
Yeah.
Now here's a game that I think, based on the opening games of these two teams here at EWC, you'd be expecting all gamers to win it, but out of 5-7.5, still really anyone's game.
Yeah, and I think I'm actually genuinely surprised so far by GE because obviously in their performance by IBR, they have 5 rounds total, which they've gotten just in this one half of
That's
the
a lot.
last round.
You do not say that again.
And I
I'm
think
gonna get in trouble.
माइक हेडफोन्स का
I think they're
और जो
actually
साउंड
doing
के लिए
really
ना
well.
वो
Like you
हेडफोन
said,
जिनमें
their
audio बहुत
macro
clear
in that
होता है.
defense was really nice. Their
Earphones
rotates
का
made a lot
audio
of sense.
clear रहता है
It felt like a lot of the small things were just little
कभी-कभी कैसे
adaptation,
irritate
making sure they're
करने
not
लगता है ना वो.
overextending on their aggressive peaks. They
अबे
changed their
उसका
defensive
फुल
setup
नेम
a couple
पता क्या है?
times. They changed it up, and it
बत्रा
worked out for their favor. And of course, back to that re-aggression when they know
हार्बर का
that AG
क्या?
are least expecting it.
वरुण हार्बर
Pistol
बत्रा
for the second half now.
Yeah, still anyone's game. It's not going to decide the game or anything, but it's always a feel-good moment.
आराम से
Global
भाई कोई
Esports back onto
टेंशन
that
ही नहीं
attacking
है
side. This
जी.
is where Harvey
कोई
has had a
टेंशन
rough
नहीं
game so far. Needs to be
अटैक
worth
है
his weight in
तुम लोग.
gold. Pagir, that's a nice opener onto
Yeah.
Crystal. The Cypher,
पंजाब में रहता है या फिर
you'd
दिल्ली
like
में?
them to activate a little bit earlier, maybe a
वो
little bit
जाता
later, rather,
मुंबई में
maybe
वो.
when the site has been taken and you're trying to
क्योंकि
bait
हर
out some
बार
of the
बता रहा है ना,
rotations. Bit
बता
of
रहा है दिल्ली और
hubris
मुंबई
from
में.
Crystal that doesn't work out for him.
Playing full retake here. All gamers
Wait,
pull down into sight. Bye, trying to get one, but is pushed all the way off. Market is fully open for the taken Kira. He sped up onto sight though, taking all of back sight. And GE, they're gonna speed up, kind of, as long as the door opens, into a fake towards that mid. They're just holding now.
Yep.
Opening that door to apply pressure.
Just cutting sound. Kira on the off angle though. He's usually pretty good on the raise. One off a additional page shell. He's done a lot of damage, but hasn't walked away with a frag. Shrimp on spawn side cleared up by Patman, and Fangir, who had to rotate because the door was opened, is now put in a very winnable position. Let's be honest, GE barely clinging to life. Position confirmed by Patman. This is where you try to stall a man out. Jiggle, jiggle. But Patman very much not interested in taking this stall. They just want to try to time it out. The spike is nice and open. GE set up around it. And the off angle, the peak from Patman at 3k there from last year's Rookie of the Year in Pacific is enough to secure GE yet another pistol.
A really nice mid-round call there to just slow it down. Cut noise, open the door, apply that pressure, and force those rotates. They really played with All Gamers there, but splitting up just wasn't it for All Gamers. The flood into sight, kind of being successful for Kira, but he gets punished because he's alone once again. Of course, pushing into market too. Really nice strat. Really nice ability to take that map control before even trying to get that spike down. And it's going to be a buy here from GE, the thrifty for AG.
All picked up. Handed over to Kira. They have been loving his showstoppers, and I can't blame them. The camera taking pictures of a bunch of GE. It's a group photo. Good times in B main. There's not really a whole lot to worry them here.
Contacting up through that smoke. Prowler's going to come out, make sure they don't have anyone bothering them from market. Front sight is secured though. They're going to be able to get that spike down, but still playing it slow. Crystal has all of flank down. These players from All Gamers just trying to find that isolated player. It's all the way in spawn though.
They just don't really give away too much. I think All Gamers are playing the purest game so far. Shrimp caught on spawn side. Shorty out in the other side of the spawn, but checked well by Poutman. So far, not really too much damage to speak of here by All Gamers, who may isolate Crystal, but with a Marshall in towards spawn side, I don't think he's really going to care too much. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh, he was hoping to catch his Russian counterpart off guard there, but not given the opportunity. And as it stands here, GE cleaning up everything that they would have wanted. 7 apiece and a flawless anti-eco. Yet another great start to a half.
Neck and neck. The bonus now for Global Esports. All Gamers are going to have their bye. Their defensive rounds I've talked about previously from Team Heretics, the way that they played against them, it looked really, really good. We'll see how they play against this team, because again, this is the first time that we've seen this map for All Gamers this year.
Yeah, coming back into the pool, Sunset may kind of decide some of these series that we have here at EWC. It's a classic round, fisticuffs over A, GRQ. Defending elbows super nicely. Fangir's got him back with the relay ball, just pushing GE away, who throw down their own hot hands. Autumn considering the curveball. In the meantime, though, walking through the top middle smoke, Kira is more than ready for it. And this is not what GE bargained for on their bonus. Harvey also called off by Shrimp. And the last two players on elbow. It's a nice double peak timing. Only one kill for GE, which earns himself his run it back, but that's not something you're going to be happy with.
They're going to be happy with that one, at least all gamers is.
ये क्या spawn पे ही खड़ा है क्या ये? वो मार दिया था फिर भी.
I think they're really happy with where they are, even though they lost that pistol. 8-7. This just kind of goes to show how close this game is going to be, and I think this is what we expected too when we were talking about this earlier, is the fact that it's going to be neck to neck. It's going to be scrappy, a lot of fighting going on, and the aggression from both these teams has been really nice to watch.
It's good money for all gamers. 4 players with about 2K in the back pocket should things go awry here. GE walking up in B main. They've been keeping this attacking side pretty simple so far. Just been death balling on in. And why wouldn't you when you've got to run it back to lead the way? Straight into the Cypher setup. By peeking in front of his utility is not really how all gamers would have wanted that to go.
Yeah, the Cypher setup just not being good enough. No delay at all. They keep playing retake on this B site, and now they haven't been able to take it back just yet. Fangir trying to get a pick here, but Autumn holding a really nice pixel angle. Falls just off of it. These players for GE playing a post plan, aggressing all of a sudden into the site is all gamers, even though they got hit by that nightfall. It's going to delay them just a little bit, unable to just go in and scale. Players taking this market. Udo, he knows no one's there. Everyone's out back site. Javi gets a pick onto Shrimp, and GRQ trying to find anything. Kira, trades back and forth. GRQ with another. Batman with another. Back and forth once again, and these players, they're chasing after Fangy here, trying to get him to not save this and not die to the spike.
Another round win for GE. Cypher Trip will confirm that he's made it out of dodge, but all gamers, I think it's good that they've held on to one gun. The rest of the boys will have money to reinvest in that one, but GE keeping things simple has worked out a treat for them. The run it back leads the way into the site, and the post plant was easy as you like. Patman, courtesy of his multi-frag on the pistol there, earns himself a nightfall early on. You saw them putting spike plants and some orbs into that as well. And I think that ultimate really secured this round after a clean pick onto the Cypher.
Yeah, that mid-round has been really nice here, even after the post plants for GE. On that pistol, taking market. Can't get that spot down without any space. They're prioritizing, pushing, and playing aggressive, making sure they're able to play a post plant situation from more than just that B main angle. And they've done it again this round, using the nightfall to delay for so long the outcome from backside, because once again they had that market control. If I'm all gamers here, I'm talking about how we're going to fix our retakes. Yes, Spy wasn't able to.
ये इधर से जो डाल रहा है उधर मैप कार पर वो क्या चीज है वो ये
more than one angle in the retakes. Yes, they're trying to trade
गॉथिक वाली कैरेक्टर है जो इधर से उधर फेंकती है वो क्या करती है ब्लाइंड
location, no one's going to peek into them. GE, they've been so good at not giving that up.
I mean, I'm seeing similar problems for both teams, quite honestly, in the fact that I feel like people are playing off angles a lot and playing for picks coming into the side. There's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But in general, if you can wait for the big punchy pieces of utility, like a really high percentage paranoia through part of the site, or you have a really nice retake plan where the utils actually hit, that's when things get a lot easier for you coming back into B. B main dominated. You don't have to end up in a retake if the other team doesn't make it into B main, but maybe you'll have to test the other side of the map. Global Esports working their way into elbow now.
All gamers, 3 guns online for them, the 3 rifles. Cypher playing that passive setup by... He knows that they're coming in. He hears it. That camera's going to spot 3 of those players. And the rotates are coming in. But this is where they've struggled. The retakes. They're playing completely off. There's almost no delay. Kira, he does have the rocket online. But they need to come up with a good plan because GE, they've taken towards spawn. They're trying to push in. They're trying to deny all that space.
Seize comes out. Oh, utils exchanged here. Autumn punished on spawn side. In goes the rocket from Kira. Really looking for anyone on GE, leading the way, zoning the rest of GE away. Horde comes out, confirms Harvey's position. Udatan down on Jen, and now it's just Patman and Crystal trying to get it done from elbow side. A lot for Crystal to do here. He's been mechanically very sharp lately. Half is on from Shrimp. He's not going to stick it to completion. It's a up-down there from all gamers. Perfection on top of the spike, and they'll take the lead.
They've learned their lesson, holding passive in spawn, knowing that something was going to happen. They were going to take some sort of control. And all gamers, punish Autumn for pushing too deep into spawn, overextending, trying to use that curveball to get away with it, but unable to. And a beautiful use of util. The haunt timing too, coming in with that rocket to be able to scan that player top site, allow Kira to get that pick. Really nicely done, and just the timing on the spacing here as well, the pathing, everything looking really good for all gamers.
Yeah, really segmenting GE and making them uncomfortable with the rocket was very, very nice.
ये जो chat तूने अभी खींच के नीचे किया है, वो left में भी वैसे ही खींच के कर सकता है तू?
Rifle being afforded courtesy of some multi-fragging in from Crystal. Gamers really looking to secure
एकदम बढ़िया बिठाया
if they can.
Length बढ़िया बिठाया, उसका width भी वैसे खींच के बड़ा कर सकता है.
Crystal's found Kira. It's a nice pick from the Cypher, who has overextended in one or two rounds. Spike dropped in B main. That's going to be a problem for GE, and the Outlaw is really kind of getting some carnage done here. Autumn with the Bandit, doing a lot of work, quite honestly. Pushing things into a 2-on-2. This is still winnable. Shrimps over on spawn side. Crystal going to join Autumn. He's going to curveball in combination there with the neural theft. Caught by the Caesars. Autumn, he's under a lot of pressure here. Spike going down from Crystal in the back lines. Autumn trying to bark as loud as he can. He's one off a runner back. That's his last curveball. There's the Prowler for AG. Very tentative. Trying to clear out Autumn in this close corner. Crystal trying to play off of the back of Autumn's contact here. Missing his shot. That's the last Prowler out from Shrimp. GRQ going down here. A little bit of damage now as we head into a one-on-one. Shrimp very much ready for the peak, and there you go, Crystal. Unfortunately, the backwards crab walk is not as effective when you're playing against a Shrimp. He's all over the crustacean movements.
That's crazy. Shrimp, one of the players we talked about in the pre-show, because he's been so phenomenal, especially in those clutches, especially with his util. He's just constantly been top fragging as well, able to trade. And I think there, Autumn, chaining his util, trying to play that retake for as long as possible. Fangirl getting 3 as well. All gamers, they're still not going to be happy though, I think, with this round. The fact that it got so close, they had those pistols online as well. It's just a struggle there. Bai just getting caught off guard once again with his Cypher. He's just standing out in the open, trying to get some sort of peek, and is just punished. Fangir getting the 3 though, being one of the main reasons why they won this round. Global Esports, though, running it down towards A this time, going fast, changing up the pace. The util's all out, and this site's free.
GRQ on the off angle. Not ready for Autumn underneath him. Takes a ton of damage there. Crystal, nice double inside a middle. That's a man advantage now for GE as Patman gets this spike down.
Crystal's been getting so many picks towards this mid, getting picks on the rotators every single time now. At least 3 rounds he's done that and punished them. The post time coming in. A lot of util chasing after that player in spawn, but unable to connect. 3v4, 2 players coming in from a link. The Nightfall goes down. Shrimp punishes Javi and elbow. Patman getting the pick onto GRQ as well. The op goes down. Fangir unable to get anything, and Shrimp down on site.
It's a really nice reset for GE. That's the round that they were looking for. They will be a little bit disappointed that they didn't get the round previous, but they know how much damage they did. They marched into that next gun round, knowing that the reset was definitely theirs for the taking. Still trailing by 1 round, but should be able to get through an anti-eco here. And this has just been super back and forth. Both of these teams fighting really hard for the first map of the series.
I find it kind of crazy that all gamers keep falling into this trap that Crystal set up towards mid, where he's just lurking, catching those rotators off guard. Every single time he manages to get a pick, and it just makes that retake 10 times harder. They keep trying to play this retake as well, just not working out for them when they're not all there. The util as well, they're heavily reliant on Shrimp. If he falls, it's kind of rough, but a thrifty here for all gamers. Shotgun and a stinger on the board, trying to get for 1, play for 1, peeking towards mid. Crystal's gonna shut down Shrimp.
It's literally the exact same angle that he picked Hero on last round. Or maybe 2 rounds ago. Outlaw looking pretty good in this round.
Collaboration वाला
a lot of light armor. So makes sense for Fangir here. GRQ trying to be the best salesman possible, but the plays will goes up. GE are not interested. They're going to be heading to the other store, straight into the A site. And they know that elbow is dirty here. That is at least going to be cause for concern. The cage to follow up, but they're going to clear it from the other side. Paranoia is not going to be good enough to hit Yutatan there. The Bucky is getting to work, but we all know about the nerfs. It's not going to be a follow-up kill onto Autumn.
Kira here. That's gonna be heard, and he touches the trip. Nothing really gonna come out of that one. Crystal getting the pick, and Patman shutting it down. All gamers here. Feels like this next round is super important for them. Trying to get ahead. But for GE, it feels like they're very comfortable. They're able to get that mid-control with Crystal, like we said. They're able to just be able to execute as well. It feels like they're just baiting a lot of those rotates. They're playing with it in the mid-round. Really good as well. A tiny bit readable. The fact that they're going to aggress. They always don't know which side they're going to do it. And they've used a lot of really good util as well.
GE, I think, putting themselves a little bit out in front, but AG, having taken attack timeout, want to make some adjustments on this defensive side. Still anyone's game for the taking here. Elimination on the line, and Sunset, you know, coming out of left field here in the veto.
Yeah.
GE always like to be tricky and difficult to prepare for in every single veto. I remember speaking to somebody about this last night, and they said, that's easier for me to prepare for because you just don't. You just focus on what your team is doing, and then you just figure it out on the fly. There's no point preparing for a team that just changes their comp every single time.
That's very valid. Jumping in, though. 10-10 here. Well-needed timeout for all gamers. Rifles, full gun buy for both sides. Fangir has the op, though. This operator might be key in them for being able to get those lines on the defensive side and understand how to rotate off of them. Two of these players, though, pushing towards that B main, trying to do some sort of seize nade combo if they see anyone. It's not going to catch because all 5 players of GE are towards this mid.
Money is fantastic here for GE. If they can reset all gamers yet again, then this should be their game on a silver platter, straight towards the middle of the map. They've read this so well. But can they deal with the 3-stack over towards A here for all gamers? Do have Bite, tucks himself into Generator, nice and snug, slid on in is Unitan. That's a nice entry, peeking off the back of that contact. GRQ only going 1-for-1, but Fangir is the player that they haven't checked in elbow, and he's causing some problems.
Trying to find another shot. Crystal, he is flanking though. Two of these players, Kira and Shrimp, they're walking up towards this A main. They might catch him off guard. Crystal gets punished, and now the side has been flipped. 3 of these players trying to retake from that A main. Elbow is being taken. The op is holding it down. Kira's going to walk up with Fangir. The paranoia goes in. The shot misses. The knife falls out. Javi, that dark cover to delay. These players are going to have to run through it. The time just isn't that there. Fangir, Autumn, Shrimp with a pick onto Autumn, and they actually win that retake.
Yeah, that's rough. I felt like Javi, you know, he was doing well to drop the paranoia and the dark cover on a really nice timing, but he needed at least one there to give Autumn a bit of a hand. All gamers, that's a nice retake there, but with only 2 players surviving, this is still very much hanging in the balance. GE haven't gotten themselves the spike plant there, and with plenty of cash in the bank, still have this reset potential, but that'll only last so long.
I think now, too, GE, they know that operator is online for Fangir. They're going to be able to understand that he's going to set it up somewhere, try to get some sort of peek. I'm wondering if they're going to change their approach, try to find where that op is and just go the other way, or at least push him off. And maybe they might be a little bit more scared to set Crystal up towards mid. But instead, contact play towards the same aim.
Patman's ate the boom bot there as the slide in from Unitan yet again is quite fruitful for GE. Over the top, catches 2 players. What a paranoia from Harvey. GE absolutely roll this A site, and finally it seems like they're breaking through.
Dude, the confidence to just execute, hold W into his sight, knowing that there could be an operator there. They blocked off that elbow with the neon wall and just took that full A link side. Like you said, beautiful paranoia from Javi. They played that so well. GE trying to punish that operator if they were set up on either of those sides. Of course, Udo with a beautiful 3K there to shut it down. All gamers, though, they're going to try to hold on to this op. They're trying to hold on to this rifle as well. Bai sitting in spawn is going to catch Autumn. Not able to finish him off, though. 30 HP on him. Fangir trading spaces. The bait and switch, but this time with the op. They're going to see that there. Nothing too crazy, but Crystal is going towards B main to try to catch them off guard.
Autumn still hanging around. And you're right, but at the same time, GE's money is a little bit battered from the last round. They don't feel the need to push the issue. They just want to make sure they can min-max all the gun rounds towards the end of this half. Still 2 left in play. whichever way you swing this, could definitely have an OT on our hands. A decent enough save on in there for All Gamers. It's going to be a scrappy buy, let's be honest, but at least one rifle, an operator, and a showstopper is decent enough to work with. The only player who really kind of is left wanting is definitely GRQ, but an Omen with the judge can get work done at the best of times, especially on elbow.
Fangir opting towards mid, trying to shut down that one lurker that they found the whole time. He's actually going to get spotted by the cam, and that's really good information here for Global Esports. Please, take the dart out.
It's classic. And not just the pistol. Autumn applying some pressure towards the middle of the map. With Harvey's dart cover, Blazewall to follow up. You know, Autumn is really just trying to apply pressure and make some noise, and he's sensing that he has a bit of a timing here. I think you can see from Blaze's movements that he might be aware of that. He's going looking in towards spawn side, as is Kira, and unfortunately, Autumn will give up his life to the one player that can reveal where the rest of Global Esports are coming from. Overdrive pulled out by Yudatan. GRQ tucking himself in towards Jen is going to be very difficult to dig out. Patman has broken through onto Fanky. The operator is down. Shrimp's found Yudatan, but this is the player you've got to be concerned with. In the meantime, Kira has ripped the showstopper onto short side, and this is not going well for GE at all. Just down to Crystal in a 1-on-4. Has a neural theft of his own, but AG are taking no chances.
Definitely going to save that for this last round. The high-low. Crystal's going to be able to get one. Gets shut down, but and really good information, really good timing actually. To just turn around and catch Autumn off guard. You could see the pings on the minimap there. They're trying to tell each other, hey, this is open. Please don't get caught off guard. And that actually worked out for them.
Yeah, good communication from All Gamers. Yep. Got to stay on top of that kind of thing. That's the difference between a tier 1 team and the rest. Stuff from All Gamers. Definitely a losable round for them, and if they do lose that round, they're going to be broken. That's probably going to be the end of the game. So GE now back onto what looks like another pretty good gun round. Nightfall in tow. Need to try to even this one up and push us through to overtime.
Walking up towards mid here. They've had so much success, Global Esports, so they're banking on it once again. The trip there going to get destroyed, and they're pushing through market, but GRQ using that paranoia to delay. These three players from the side of All Gamers, they've played off-site, walking all the way back on. They've struggled to hold this site before Paman. Beautiful pick onto Fangir. That's the operator down. And all of a sudden, it's 4v2. About to be overtime. Shrimp, unless he can do something, gets a pick. Him and Kira trying to work this. Kira on the fast flank, but that neural theft's going to let them know where he is. Crystal getting the pick onto Kira and Shrimp. 1v3, nothing left in his belt. No util. Just him and the rifle against the world.
Yeah. Very difficult position. Shrimp tried to crack back in onto that one. Finding himself a pick, but GE, even after this smoke elapses, there's not much being shown to Shrimp here. He'll make first contact with Autumn, but it's a nice peek from Harvey. That's overtime. Global Esports able to hold their nerve despite a little bit of a shambolic round on the A side of the map just previously.
These teams neck and neck. Seems like that last round was so one-sided, and this round comes around, and again, it's flipped the other side. It's just whichever team is able to adapt a lot quicker or understand and get those initial picks that get the success. Fangir, of course, dying on this retake was really rough. Beautiful shot from Patman, though, to shut him down. And then again, they don't have any need to fight super aggressively. The split worked out for them. They had all of market. They just played those post plants beautifully. The peaks, the timings, the trades. This is a GE that looks completely different from the last time we saw them.
25th or 26th
now,
round.
they're back on that defensive side.
Yeah, it's a much better matchup for them. You know, the Pacific and the VCTCN teams very much familiar with each other, often practice together. Autumn has played over in VCTCN for quite a long time, so we'll know exactly what they're dealing with here. Push from Autumn. Yudatan in tow as well. Oh, that is phenomenal. Instant neural theft off the back of that. He has just won this round outright.
He's been kind of quiet all game, struggling on the defense side whenever he's on that weak side, or unable to just hold his own. And now all of a sudden using that power. Paman walks out into the smoke. Nobody knows he's out, but by getting a fourth. Could he get the ace in one of the most important rounds in this matchup? The ace for Vi! I can't believe it! When it matters, he comes back online.
for GE by really throwing down the gauntlet here in overtime. They thought that they were going to be able to try to go for a pick inside of B main here, but that is perfect. Bai is just sitting in the pocket, waiting for them to go on the front foot. As soon as the curveball and the relay bolt come out from the Neon, it's a perfectly timed peak.
Gee, though, falling back into that trap where they overextend a little bit too much, pushing towards that
नहीं एस तो
B
बढ़िया था ना
spot,
लेकिन
and instead of falling back right away and repositioning and forcing
अप्रिसिएशन तो
all
देना
gamers to
चाहिए
use
कोई
their
भी टीम मारे
retail to re-clear or at least use their bodies, they just stay. They stay there
सैंकी
for
को तो कब
way
से
too
बोला एस
long.
मारने
Yes,
नेजी
they
ने
could have traded.
तो
Yes,
मार नहीं रहा
Bai,
है
he had a life round right there. But still,
कल मारा था क्या
they
नेजी ने
should
एस
have learned that from that first half. We saw it so
नहीं
often where they
आज
overextended, they
मारेंगे
overstayed
अभी
in
ब्रेक होने
welcome.
वाला है इनका
Yeah.
आज करेंगे अपन
I don't know. I think it's just one of those things, you know. You can sit back.
मारेंगे तो
Try to
बोल रहा हूँ
play
मेरा तो
physically
नेट
through
भी नहीं
text,
चल रहा है
especially with Cypher as your sentinel, and if you have kind of these well-drilled plans, then it can go well for you. But I
मेरा
understand
इधर
why
नेट
GE
का वो
stay on
सीन
the
है ना
front foot.
इसलिए तो लास्ट
And
में
I
अपन
feel
वैल्यू
like
नहीं खेल पा
today
रहे
a
थे
lot of the timings are just not really working for them, unfortunately.
अभी तो बारिश हो रहा है
AG are a
भाई
little
उधर
bit more switched on.
बारिश तो हो ही रहा है इधर भी
They're
बारिश है
often
इधर
getting
तो
the better
कब
end
से ही
of these
बारिश हो रहा है
trades.
कुछ दिनों से ही बारिश है
This is
केरला में
AG's chance to finally close out Sunset here. 4 players ready as this elbow pressure is coming in from GE. Up goes the fast lane. They very much kind of trying to feel this one out. Immediate season response there from Strip. Out goes Fangir. GE under pressure now. The Boombot and the Prowler making Autumn uncomfortable, and Avi only comes up with 1. That's not going to be good enough.
1v4
And AG on the verge of closing out their opponent's map pick. Crystal in a 1-4 peeking into yet another high-low, and that's going to be VCTCN getting themselves that first map win. Pacific just continues to struggle here.
All gamers winning GE's map pick. They hit this map so far in this tournament, haven't played it yet. And now all of a sudden showing that they could do such a good job. Of course, that last round, the gamble towards that A site, obviously getting rewarded. 4 players there. And now you're looking at Global Esports to come back because that next map is split.
Global Esports winning the pistol rounds, going to OT, and then getting...
ये वो लाइव चैट हटा दे
कुठून हटवू लाइव चैट
हाँ अभी वो करते हैं वो करने के बाद फिर अपन अपना खेलते हैं
अरे पर अभी तक सिर्फ एक ही मैच हुआ है रे मतलब एक मैप ही हुआ है अभी तक और 4 मैप से
हाँ कुछ नहीं अभी तो एक बार वो कर लेते हैं अपन सेट कर लेते हैं
हाँ
वो सेट कर लो थोड़ा लाइव चैट निकाल दो
अभी देख वो एक ब्लैंक करके एक होगा स्क्रीन ओवरले में वो लगा के ट्राई करते हाँ कर दे यार भी कुछ भी करेगा चलेगा तू डाल कुछ भी
बता चल अभी क्या करूँ सीन पे क्लिक किया तो वैसे तो दिखेगा ही नहीं ना वो
हाँ सीन पे तो नहीं क्लिक कर रहे वैसे तो अपन
पर अभी मैंने सीन पे क्लिक किया तो वो ये हो जाएगा
हाँ सीन पे तो क्लिक करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी तेरे को एक्चुअली मैं बताता हूँ डिस्कॉर्ड पे अभी डिस्कॉर्ड शेयर मार एक बार
डिस्कॉर्ड
जैसे बीआरपी
डिस्कॉर्ड बता
एक सेकंड
8 मिनट करेगा, 4-5 मिनट का तो पकड़ ले।
उससे सही ये वाला है जो चैट वाला था उसके साथ सीक्रेट लैब।
ये देख 4 मिनट का ब्रेक है।
एक मैच हो जाएगा।
पीछे वैलो चालू कर दूं?
हाँ
तो खोल के बैठे मैं लोग।
और वो उधर डिस्प्ले तो वो है ना।
तू भाई ये देखता रहे, अपन लोग ये पिंक सूट से खेल के आते हैं।
मैं तब तक पीछे वैलो तो खेल सकता हूँ, ये पीछे चालू है तब तक फिर, क्योंकि ये तो विंडो कैप्चर है ना।
हाँ बीआरबी डाल देना, बीआरबी डाल
बीआरबी
दे।
नहीं रे, बीआरबी नहीं, ये गेम कैप्चर, ये वीडियो विंडो कैप्चर है। मैं पीछे गेम तो खेल नहीं सकता हूँ ना।
डिस्प्ले कैप्चर थोड़ा है, हाँ खेल सकता है, डिस्प्ले कैप्चर में दिक्कत होगी।
अभी तो फुल स्क्रीन कर दे, अभी YouTube फुल स्क्रीन कर दे, YouTube के नीचे की चीजें सब क्या दिख रही है। अभी जाता है ना है, फर्क नहीं पड़ता अपने को।
कर दिया वो स्क्रीन कर दिया मैंने वो।
हाँ ये अभी क्लीन दिख रहा है एकदम।
अरे नीजू आ गया है, जल्दी आओ रे।
पेन, अरे पेन का नेट चलेगा कि नहीं?
पेन खेलेगा भाई लोग?
अबे ये देख नहीं रे, पेन स्ट्रीम बंद हो रहा है वो
क्या
वैलोरेंट
ये
वाला
रोशन
जो।
वेलोरेंट वाला बंद होगा, जो रॉइड है ना वो बंद पीछे से बंद कर दे चीजों
वो
को।
मेरे पास सिंगल मॉनिटर है ना, डुअल मॉनिटर रहता तो मैं
तो
केज के साइड में डाल देता।
हाँ समझा समझा समझा।
अबे
तो क्या
डुअल
अभी
मॉनिटर।
एक चीज ये मेरे को चेक करना पड़ेगा, अपन अगर उनके लेआउट में या फिर उनके ओवरले में अगर गेम खेला तो कॉपीराइट आएगा क्या, वो देखना पड़ेगा एक बार। नहीं कहना
उनका
चाहिए वैसे
ओवर,
तो नहीं।
उनका नहीं, अरे अलग अलग रहते हैं ना, अपना वीडियो कैप्चर अलग हो जाएगा, डिस्प्ले कैप्चर उनका अलग हो
हाँ
जाएगा।
पण
वही वही
डबल
वही
ड्युअल मॉनिटर्स पाहिजे ना त्याला, म्हणजे विंडो
अरे हाँ
कॅप्चर मी
तेरा
दुसरं चालू
एक
करू
ही
शकतो,
हाँ
मात्रा
म्हणजे
मॉनिटर
माझा
नहीं,
यूट्यूब ॲप्लिकेशन मिनिमाइज होतो ना मागे गेम चालू ठेवला तर।
अरे शंकी सस्ता मॉनिटर मंगा ले, 200 से ले ले किसी 200
हाँ
की
अरे ये स्क्रीन अलग हो जाएगा ना, ये पूरा यूट्यूब अलग हो जाएगा।
अरे
हा
अगदी
मग
टॉपिक का 200 से
त्याच्यासाठीच
बोरो
तेच
कर
की,
लेना।
त्याच्यासाठीच मला डुअल मॉनिटर लागणार, जिथे मी तो यूट्यूब तिथे ठेवणार आणि गेम इथे घेणार
वही
तसं।
वही वही
यस यस।
सिंगल मॉनिटर मध्ये मागे पुढे राहतो ना, मग तो मिनिमाइज होणार आणि
वही
हा चालू ठेवणार।
कोई सुन, तेरे घर में टीवी है?
टीवी है
शंकी वहाँ डाल, टीवी का एचडीएमआई कनेक्ट कर दे और उसे वहाँ डाल दे।
पूरा दुनिया के सामने खेलूं मैं ये?
अरे तो वो वहाँ पे यूट्यूब चलता रहेगा ना, वहाँ तो यूट्यूब चलता रहेगा।
अरे यूट्यूब तो चलता ही रहेगा रे, यूट्यूब का प्रॉब्लम थोड़ी है। पर टीवी मेरा एंड्रॉयड विंड्रॉयड नहीं है ना, वो कनेक्ट करो फिर वो डालो
भाई
वो
एचडीएमआई
लो।
केबल से सब कुछ कर देती है यार। मेरा भी कौन सा एंड्रॉइड टीवी है, एचडीएमआई केबल से हो
उसाचा ना
जाता है।
एक मैच खेल के फिर अपन स्विच कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि अपन 2 मैचेस तो दिखा रहे हैं ना, 2 मैचेस
हाँ हाँ
दिखा
हाँ
के
फिर
फिर
आजा।
कर सकते हैं स्विच, चाहिए तो।
मैं तो कह रहा हूँ बीआरबी डाल दे, रन नहीं हो रहा तो बीआरबी डाल दे, उसके बाद आके खेले, उसका दुआ डाल दे वो वापस आने
अपने
का।
को डुअल मॉनिटर वाला चाहिए कोई तो। पेन
और मैं
टाइम
उधर
पे
खेलना आ
चेयर
गया,
लाने गए।
डुअल मॉनिटर है ये, इस पे होगा
मैं
ना?
खेलना आ गया।
जी जी डुअल मॉनिटर है क्या, ऐसे एक सिंगल है?
सिंगल, मेरी इधर जगह नहीं और मेरे
अरे
एक
उसका
ही दो
डुअल
मोटर
मॉनिटर
लगे।
के, उसका 2 माउस दे रहेगा, उतना जगह नहीं है। जिसके पास मॉनिटर है वो भाई साहब तो पहुंच गए केरला।
एक काम कर, सुनो सुनो सुनो, एक काम कर सकता हूँ, मेरे पास
बे
मॉनिटर
तू
बोरो, ठीक
आने
है?
का कभी, आने का कभी है तेरा?
मैं मंथन डाऊंगा।
बाप
ए सुन,
रे चूल्हा
एक
एंड
काम
पे।
करता हूँ,
हाँ। ये ओबिटो का कब से मैंने बोला था, अरे तू तू लेके रख, तो ये ले करता ही नहीं है ना लॉगिन।
अरे देखो देखो देखो, एक काम कर, मेरे पास डुअल मॉनिटर का जुगाड़ हो जाएगा, पर आज नहीं हो पाएगा, कल हो पाएगा, तो आज मैं लेके
हाँ
आऊंगा
ठीक है, तो
दो तीन दिन
करके
के
रख
लिए।
करके रख करके रख।
कल मैं
करके
क्या कर रहा हूँ,
रख,
कल
कल मत हो जाए,
हाँ कल
क्योंकि
तू
मेरा
कर फिर।
कल तू कर
मॉनिटर
फिर।
बोरो कर लूंगा, वो एक दो हफ्ते के लिए वो कर लूंगा मस्त यूट्यूब।
हाँ वही।
एक दो हफ्ते के लिए क्या, 12 तारीख तक सिर्फ करना है तेरे को स्ट्रीम
अरे
बस।
तुम्हें दो बहुत अच्छा है, उससे मैं 1 महीना बोलूँगा, 1 महीना दे देगा मॉनिटर अपना, बड़ा है
तो
उस
एक
पे
काम
एक्स्ट्रा।
कर, भेज दे मेरे घर पे हो। कितना हर्ट्ज है?
अबे ओए वापस भी करना है मेरे को। चल मैं लेके रखता हूँ, कल ड्यूल मॉनिटर आ जाएगा मेरे पास।
आज ही लेके रख।
तो फिर भाई को जाना पड़ेगा ना शाम को उससे मिलने, ऐसे उसके घर से उठा के
तो
लाऊंगा।
कल तेरे को उठा के तेरे को सेटअप करना पड़ेगा।
हाँ मैं करके रखूंगा
कल
उसको
वैसे
चिंता
भी देख, कल जीई का मैच है नहीं। अपन चाहिए तो ओनली जीई के मैचेस पे, आज जीई जीता तो ही आगे के मैचेस स्ट्रीम कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि जीई जीतना पड़ेगा। जी
अपन
अच्छा
जी
पर
सपोर्टर है क्या?
कौन?
अरे पर जी हाल तो बहुत कम स्कोर था जब लास्ट देखा
अरे
था बीच में।
जीई इंडियन टीम है रे, उसको तो सपोर्ट करना ही पड़ेगा।
हाँ इंडियन टीम है, मैं मना नहीं कर रहा, मानता हूँ, बट वो उनके टैक्टिक में ना हल्का हल्का कम पड़ रहे थे उनके सामने।
क्यों पर डिफेंस में ये लोग पुश क्यों मारते हैं, मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा।
हमारी वाले आदत भाई, इंडियंस ऐसे ही घुस जाते सीधा डिफेंस में पुश मारने।
ए वो लोग,
उन्हें-
नेजी जरा विचारू ने ते तो को काय खेळतायत?
अनरेवल 2 खेल रहे हैं उन लोग।
अनरावल्ड 2 खेलो खेलो। अबे पेन
हर
का
जगह डाल रहा हूँ,
वैलोरेंट,
हर जगह ब्रॉडकास्ट कर रहा हूँ भाई, हर जगह ब्रॉडकास्ट कर रहा हूँ।
पेन का वैलोरेंट का अभी मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा यार, अभी कैसे करेंगे? पेन अभी
कुछ नहीं,
केरला में
थोड़ा
वालो।
एडजस्ट करके खेल लेंगे, वैसे भी मेरे को खेलना थोड़ी आता है। तो चलेगा ना।
तो फिर आरवी तेरे लेते हैं क्या?
हाँ वो खेल सकते
लाइट
हैं वो
फुल
सब।
सुना रही है ना? हैं?
हाँ
मैं कह रहा हूँ पेन आ रहा है कि क्या सीन है, वो लोग खुल के बैठे अपन लोग।
आ रहा हूँ आ रहा हूँ आ रहा हूँ।
अगर तू
एक
मुझे
काम
2
कर,
मीटर।
तुम लोग ना पीछे एक गेम खेलो, तो क्या
ए
होगा,
शैंकी।
पेन का पिंग निकाल कितना आ रहा है,
हाँ हाँ।
और फिर देख इधर ना, पहला पहला सेकंड मैच चालू होने वाला है। सेकंड मैच मैप का है, मेरे को तो हेवन चाहिए। हेवन तो बैन करते हैं लोग, हेवन हर टाइम बैन करते हैं।
कर दिया भाई, हर जगह ब्रॉडकास्ट कर दिया है मैंने।
मुझे एक दो बार बंद कर जाके पानी बंदा पड़ेगा। अरे सुन
मैं
शैंकी,
फेसबुक वगैरह पे।
अगर सुबह तुम्हें
मैं
ड्यूअल मॉनिटर वाला सिस्टम बताता ना, मैं सुबह ही लिया था यार, मुझे रिग्रेट हो रहा है यार, डबल मॉनिटर वाला सीन। बट फुट जाके लिया था, 5 बजे ने, बताओ यार, अभी वो बंदा भी उन्हें घर नहीं हुआ,
अबे
दिन में
नहीं,
निकल
अभी
गया।
जरा चांस नहीं है, अभी मत।
मैं
कल तो
फेसबुक वगैरह यूज करके मेरे को साल हो गया, फेसबुक पे मैंने ब्रॉडकास्ट कर। मजा आ गया। फेसबुक इंस्टा हर जगह डाल दिया है।
रिपेन क्यों
इंस्टा
आ
तो
रहा है
अपना
यार, मेरे को वेट कर
फेसबुक
रहे हैं
का ही
तेरा।
है।
शिफ्ट लगाओ शिफ्ट।
मेरे को मत ऐड कर, रुक जा।
तेरे को ऐड कहाँ कर रखा है, तेरे को तो मैं अभी नहीं तो किक कर रहा हूँ, तू देख ले ठीक है।
अरे पेन को तो आने दे।
हाँ रुक रुक रुक।
ठीक है रोक।
क्या सांकी, क्या तेरा ब्लैक स्क्रीन हो गया?
हाँ दिखा ना, ब्लैक स्क्रीन दिखता है ना वो। एक दो
हम्म।
सेकंड के लिए मैंने सिर्फ ये मारा। ओ हो जेट लिया है अभी, मतलब छोटा मैप है। Jet और
do tend to
Viper
do a lot of
ले
4-1s on their attack side, and they actually leave Shrimp to be that one. They leave that initiator
भाई
alone, the
अपने
Sky, getting all that
Batman ने तो
information,
fade
putting
लिया है।
pressure with the dog, with those
Mananuni.
flashes. And a lot of the time, he also has these really good catches on the rotators as well. So for me, I'm still looking at the Fade, I think, just as a character, a lot stronger. No flashes, though, on the side of GE.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it can work to have your Sky on the lurk and apply pressure, but if the other team is prepared for you, then it's something that can really backfire. You can be very readable if you base your entire attacking side around initiator util. I like the Sky, though, better, honestly, in this comp with the raised jet. I think there's plenty of examples, particularly in Pacific, where the burstiness you have of a guiding light rather than a prowler that takes about 10 business days to get into the site is actually, you know, a little bit better in a lot of examples, but only if you're fast enough to play around it well.
Taking a look at our rosters, this could be the final game for Global Esports. On the other side, AGAL is looking for a rematch against Heretics potentially, or a new fight against MIBR. This will also be an additional $25,000 if you win this game for AGAL, as they'll be guaranteed at least 9 through 12. A big game for both of these squads, and we are just moments away from jumping in. Pilsky, if you are just tuning in to Valorant for the first time, you've been working all weekend. What did they miss, and what are you about to see?
You miss Global Esports maybe not having the best start to their group, kind of getting battered around a bit by an MIBR that are actually playing over in the A stream and have lost their first map here at EWC. For AG, I think it's quite the opposite. They had a game that was well and truly winnable for them, and now they're looking for recovery here, and they've already picked up the first map. So let's see if they can try to capitalize on that and win this series on one of their most comfortable maps here.
And now jumping into a comfortable map, just like you said. AG, they're starting on that attack side. They've been really good and making sure they're setting themselves up for success. Lots of 4-1s when they do get to those gun rounds. But for this pistol, they're starting with some sort of mid-default, that dark cover going in, the flash, the paranoia coming back out. Baiting that out from the Omen is insane, but you've spent those nades to get that.
Good stuff.
Cool moment.
AG baiting out a little bit of the mid-trap there. Now GE will have to reset a little bit as this round drags on. AG, very similar to what we saw on Sunset. It is a very slow attacking side here. Trailblazer goes into the A side once again, causing a little bit of pressure. Pangear gets caught there by the C's, but Autumn, this is an excellent timing indeed. Two players not even looking at him. Spike dropped, and he's not going to need to hang around for too much longer. All gamers now throwing caution to the wind. Kira straight through the middle of the map, picks up Yudotan, and they're looking to pick up the pace into the B side. They're very well aware that Autumn is still inside a B main, and that's something that they're going to kind of deal with later. Kick that can down the road, so to speak. Good timing for Patman to give GE the man advantage, and this is looking a little too messy here for an All Gamers who, for the second time, have got caught off. Harvey from Sewers does get an additional pick. Autumn finally cleaned up, though. Pangear could be the difference maker here.
2v2, the players are trying to keep that site. They know there's a player in heaven, though. Constantly spotting for it. I say that, but they didn't actually see him. Patman now has that haunt. It goes online. These players probably trying to play this crossfire. They have to force themselves out here. Patman and Crystal trying to scale. Splitting up, but it actually goes well. Crystal getting the pick onto Kira. Pangear with 3, but Crystal cleaning that up.
Yeah, All Gamers still keeping it very, very close, though. That is the 3rd pistol this series for GE. It's not something they've been having trouble winning. But getting the map wins, on the other hand, so far, not so easy to come by.
Pistols have been good. I think the proactivity so good. Again, we've seen Autumn be aggressive. Last map on the Phoenix, and now here with the Jet, he's taken so many really well-timed positions. And for All Gamers, I'm questioning, they just need to be a little bit more aware of the gaps in their attack. But now, 4 players towards this B main. Fast take, trying to get that pressure down. Javi, he's alone on this site, but Patman from heaven trying to help. Pangear the peek onto Javi. And now Udo somehow getting by on the other side of the map. Pangear getting the trade onto Patman. 3v3 here. 4v3, sorry. Kira set up for this post plant.
Nice open plant there. Trailblazer into spawn side. All Gamers will follow it on in. Crystal under some pressure. Drops the snake bite to push All Gamers away. Vulnerable is GRQ, and Crystal's taken some damage, but been able to clean that one up. Autumn
Sanky
A
का
bullet
KO
left for the
याद आ गया
Outlaw
मेरे
here.
को.
It's a
Team
tentative
up पे था वो.
3-on-3. You do not want to get ecoed
वो
as
शायद
GE.
team up
And
पे
it's
था.
looking more and more likely as we go deeper into this round. Autumn caught off guard as well. And Fangir, a cracker of a double entry to swing on from Shrimp, gives all gamers the eco win. That is crushing for GE.
Fangir
अरे
with a
पिन प्रो
beautiful
कहाँ रह गई भाई?
entry, just holding
खेलने आ रहा मैं
W and
स्ट्रिप
getting
पे.
across into sight, punishing Javi for having a weird position. I mean, he put that dark cover down after that paranoia towards B main, but
No, no,
still
no,
was
no.
unable to hold.
जब तक
Just
ये
stood
स्ट्रीम पे
out
रहेगा तो
backside,
एक
switching
मैच
from
तक
his
डालेंगे.
util to his weapon, and got
मेरा
caught
किल
off
पता
guard.
नहीं
The
लेकिन follow कर
timing
रहा
here,
हूँ
you
मैं.
see that?
हाँ
So
पिंग का आइडिया ले
hard
लेना
to
कितना
deal
पिंग बैठे
with.
हो.
I mean, they just weren't ready for someone to be that confident.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're expecting people to take the normal timings, and Old Mate is very much licking the snap and sending it. And this game indeed has gone completely postal for GE. Fangir now, as the Outlaw active, he's got some help here. GE applying some pressure. Autumn, yeah, a little over-enthusiastic, a little excitable, but quickly quietened by an AG who are yet again playing a pretty slow one on this anti-eco attacking side.
I guess you could say Autumn has now fallen. Get it?
Yeah,
Fall,
he's
Autumn.
leaving the server, some would say. Shrimp, he is, look, on that spray, looking like a shell of his former self, you might say. Kira's also caught one. I don't want to have anything for him. And it's looking pretty good for all gamers, quite honestly. Walking straight into an open A site. Shrimp has only lost his armor, and that's pretty much all the damage that's been done by GE here.
Yeah, just playing it slow, knowing that GE's going to do something maybe a little bit desperate.
Shadows traveling.
Shutting that down. But again, man, that second round was insane from all gamers. I really like the speed up, the change of pacing. Those are the kinds of rounds that I really like to see.
Well, that's the thing about all gamers is just like, at least at the start of the year, they run through VCTCN.
Oh my god.
Kira's sending it, as most people are. Was dominated by Fangir in some of the games. Like, he's the memorable player for me. Speaking of which, that's one to forget. A little bit of damage being done here by Harvey, who's being a nuisance on spawn side. All gamer no longer really interested in trying to hunt him down, although Shrimp wouldn't mind an extra one towards the Seekers. I don't think that's going to be happening. But yeah, I've been really surprised with how well-rounded all gamers are, to be honest, because I only really remember, you know, watching a few of all gamers games, quite honestly, and they were big games from Fangir, and I was thinking, yeah, this is just yet another import coming into VCTCN and hard carrying one of the teams. But it's quite the opposite, you know, watching them play here. I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing. Yes, Fangir is unreal, and that second round is a perfect example of why, but they've got plenty of substance to back that up.
Yeah, I think they've done such a good job as well at adapting, making sure they're fixing a lot of their issues, fixing the fundamental mistakes that they did make when they were playing in that stage 1 in VCT. But now a super quick round here, that rocket online. Kira and Fangir pushing all the way into B heaven, trying to find one. Beautiful paranoia behind, but oh my god, I can't speak by Javi, but he gets punished with the rocket.
Autumn under pressure now in the back of the site. Kira has found Crystal in the meantime. Udatan fighting hard from Heaven's side, hand in hand with Patman. It's a 2-on-3 here. Spike has been dropped. Bai is up close in a pretty cheeky position, ready to swing out off the contact. GRQ in with the backstab, and that's what I was talking about. Perfect timing from Bai as soon as Patman makes contact with his teammate, and that is a round for all gamers.
God, I really like the speed up, the change of pacing, and they've kept GE on their toes now. They have no idea how they're going to play this next round. And it's so nice to see. I really like this duo too, the duelist duo of Kira and Fangir. They're so good at keeping up the space together. The util there as well to follow up.
That showstopper is perfection. I mean, it just shows how confident your Raze player is, because yes, okay, you're shooting where the paranoia is coming from, but it's a multi-layer thing. Not only does he shoot his showstopper, but he also saves his own life because the momentum of the ult puts him into a safer position until the paranoia elapses. So it's kind of just a win-win. And that's kind of the difference between just playing Raze and looking like a bit of an idiot fumbling your satchels and really being one of the better Raze players in the world.
Thrifty here on the side of Global Esports. They have that rocket online, but not really using to expend it. It's instead a triple setup towards this B main. The paranoia is going to come in, but a little bit too late because Fangir, he's already made his way completely out of danger. These 4 players now leaving one.
Yeah. Leave the Outlaw over on the extremity. Continue to apply pressure and keep GE honest. they're just going to throw out a dark cover, and they've put a band-aid over there, a little bit of tape, and they've said, don't worry about B. That's totally fine. AG also not worried about B. Straight into the A site yet again here. This is looking like a bit of a trend in the mid-round against the anti-ecos. I'd love a late-round stack from GE, maybe later on in the half if they end up on another one.
Set up for a nice post plant here. They're aware that heaven is open. Fangir, he's going to hear all that noise actually from spawn. With a crossfire here. So much util being used. They're re-clearing this A main. Fangir's playing far back, but not far enough. He gets picked off right away. That's just an outlaw, though. 4 players still set up really nicely on site. They don't really have an exit strategy just yet. Kira able to get the pick off on Urotan. Another pick from GRQ. They're just playing their exits now on the side of GE.
It's the outlaw from Harvey. Bandit not as effective, and AG exiting the site here. Over towards Heaven's side. Get the peek out here. Shrimp does go down. He already has his ultimate, and actually Kira is the player you would want picking up that pick because he needs to build himself up another showstopper.
Yeah, 2 so early on in this half would be insane. I think he's like 3 away. Now, 2 weapons saved for the side of all gamers. They did drop 3, a little bit expensive, but they're going to be fine. They're going to be able to buy that next round. And an all gun round here online for this next round. The last time, all gamers, they just sent it, full sent it. They had so much stuff to go with it. The util, the ults. But they have to deal with this operator. Both sides, Autumn, picking towards B main. Getting flashed off the line. Javi is deposited, though. He's going to get the pick onto Kira, TPing out. That's a really nice numbers game here for Global Esports.
That's a little bit more like it from Javi. He can be an impactful player even after a quiet first map. It's Global Esports, the player advantage here. Swing out from Patman in the 5-on-4 is probably not what you would be looking for, but he is always looking to be confident and try to take over the game, advantage or not. There's the pick from Fangir.
Wow.
Despite the great start for Global Esports, in the mid-round, they are being punished for pushing the issue a little bit too much.
Overextending. Patman there pushing through. You can't blame Crystal. Just holding an angle, being unaware that the op is about to peek him. And the Seekers going out. That's going to be a lot of information. They know that there's a player towards this site. Only one of them went towards the A site, and they're collapsing here. The Omen ult to go on site. The rocket coming in. Udo punishes. Bai gets that trade. Javi left in elbow, using the paranoia, trying to scramble, trying to get one. Fangir offing. He's blind, but GRQ with the trade. 2v1 on him with an op.
Over on Heaven's side. Mistake there from Bai. That's a freebie, but position confirmed. It's not an easy 1v1 for the operator. GRQ inside of the dark cover. Creeping around the side.
मतलब मेरा नहीं चल रहा है मैं तो अंदर ही नहीं आया गेम के
GRQ is a little quicker, and that is around GE very much needed. It started
मैं तो अंदर ही नहीं आ
but denied by all gamers who moved 5-1.
That was such a nice round. So close from both sides too. Global Esports though once again falling into this punishment.
मैं तो लॉबी में दिख रहा हूँ
ना पहले से ही चालू था मैच.
पहले चालू था जैसे लॉबी इनवाइट खत्म हुआ
Constantly
था
peeking. This first kill was really nice. Javi getting that pick, falling back, the numbers, everything made a lot of sense for them. But then just giving it up, and all gamers really well done too to speed up, make sure they're using those picks. The knives actually popped though for Autumn towards mid.
Nice pick on Department. Going down early in the piece yet again here. He's maybe spent too much time with Paper X, and if this keeps going the same direction, he's going to be spending some more time with them. Autumn, that's a nice double up. Could be the difference maker here. Instant reply from Fangir. Paranoia pushes them away from the spike, but GRQ will get his hands on it nonetheless. Just waiting in the corner is Udotan. Doesn't seem like all gamers are cognizant of the fact that he is in that corner, but can Bai spot him out here? It's a little bit of an awkward situation. Udo, how is your trigger discipline here, my friend? It's looking pretty good to me. And finally, GE in a winning position now. Spike dropped in the middle of the map. Fangir very low on HP, peppered up by Harvey. And I'm sure all gamers, with the op thrown away, should have no business winning this round. Fangir's been magical so far. His hands on a sheriff. 30 seconds on the clock. This would be an outrageous round for GE to let slip through their fingers. Orbs up. There's just no way in hell.
Yeah, they're split up though. Kind of scary. Crystal playing that close angle. Fangir is going to hear that snake bite coming in from close. Falling a bit back now, playing it a little bit safer as the time runs out. Fangir probably could have saved that operator. But it doesn't matter. As long as it doesn't get into the hands of GE, they're still able to buy that next round. Spots Crystal, unable to get it, and a thrifty from GE. Lovely with the knives.
Yeah, really nice stuff. Bit of a mid-walk, GE taking a risk. And despite Patman going down to the operator, which continues to give GE some problems, they find themselves cheeky little position on Udatan here to be a bit of a difference maker. We'll get a timeout now for things to be discussed a little bit more.
Timeout actually coming in from the side of all gamers. After that round, they're going to be really irritated, wondering what went wrong, but obviously just not clearing those close angles after getting initially those picks. Autumn obviously pushing all the way down. That confidence. It's nice to see GE still having it. Yes, it was a thrifty. Yes, they usually like to go for something somewhat aggressive, but still the confidence is there to bring it back into this map, and I think that's really nice to see when you're low.
Oh, well, a pistol round and a win on a thrifty does not half make, though. You're going to have to see some substance on the gun rounds here sooner rather than later for Global Esports. It's not like they haven't been given a couple of opportunities and a couple of picks in some of these rounds, but as we've kind of mentioned, this is very comfortable territory for an All Gamers who have already won the first map. And so far, this attacking side has been pretty faultless, but this could be a big opportunity for GE. Money is finally looking a little weaker, and if GE, after flipping the economy a little bit with those pistols, can win this round and capitalize, this could really change up the trajectory of this game. Same setup we've seen from GE before. Harvey TPing into the corner, but All Gamers are not interested.
Op setup on that B line, though. Lots of good information. They're going to keep walking up. Might just catch off GRQ here. He's holding, though. He's aware there might be something aggressive going on. He's about to come in. Autumn picking off GRQ, and now they have the numbers advantage here. GE, they just need to keep it clean. Make sure they're not getting picked off. But Fangir, he's trying to find one with the op. Not going to give it to him, though, because this player's playing on site on Crystal. Yeah,
smokes are down here for All Gamers, so that's a bit troublesome. What I can say, though, is if Bai can get onto that site and actually earn himself the pit, put it down, then that might just remedy the situation. It's a contact approach here for an All Gamers who were initially letting the operator lead the way, but now they're grouping up towards a ramp. GE quite happy to play the numbers. They've got the Nightfall to lean on in the retake.
Retake could be online. Patman playing in that spawn. We have 3 players already over here. Cured, though, trying to go for something aggressive. Fangir gets punished through that orb by Patman. Crystal on site. Bai gets one. Crystal gets another. Javi, the pit actually spent. And now pushing towards it. Kira with 2. 5 HP left. 2v1, though. 16 seconds on the clock. He has the rocket online, trying to go for one. Udo not going to give it to him. The flank from Autumn, going to catch him off guard. The spike might be able to be planted, but it's not looking too good. 5 HP, and Autumn gets that kill.
It's a big round for GE to win. Money not great on the side of All Gamers, but I don't think that the going gets any easier for a GE who only get through this round with 2 weapons. One of them will be the operator. My big concern lies in the fact that All Gamers have a lot of ultimates coming into this next one. Bladestorm, Showstopper, and a Viper. It's a round that, a Viper roll rather. It's a round that really kind of plays itself sometimes. Open up with the rocket and then put the pit down. And Bob's your uncle.
30 seconds left. Yeah, this is more of the playstyle that I like to see from GE. Getting aggressive in that first early round.
What a pit. Honestly, we saw the greatest Viper utility in that round. The snake bite from the defense went into Narnia. And then the pit just goes nowhere.
I know. That's why I heard the voice line. I'm like, there's no way that was spent there. But a fast start here for All Gamers. 5 stacked towards this B. They're trying to punish any push. They realize the op isn't here and full sent it into an execute on site. Avi, Patman, really nice crossfire. Bai gets the pick. The rocket is spent. Shrimp trading. Bai, though. Getting a pick onto Udo. 2v2.
I feel like GE may have overcooked a little bit, but with both of the players in some pretty good positions, then they could definitely pick up the piece. pieces rather. And there you go. Crystal will do exactly that. From the backside of the pillar, very steady there. He had ordered to back him in from Heaven's side. And all gamers trying to be a little bit dangerous. Chucking a couple ults on into that one. But not walking away with the round.
GE all of a sudden online, understanding how they want to play their defensive side.
93 MS.
They've been snowballing these rounds now. And it's looking really nice. I'm really enjoying the way that they're playing this. Of course, by delaying for so long on site, doing a good job. Him and Javi and Patman crossfiring on B. It's just made so much sense. And now they're setting up Autumn for success towards that A main. Players and all gamers. Rough by, just the Guardian, 2 stingers.
Yeah, tried to force into that last one. Autumn's got on this deep A info line. Crystal tried to zone all gamers away. GE well and truly aware that they're in the middle of the map. In goes the Cloudburst. It's actually a fake dash in from Fangir, and then his Cloudburst I thought was going to be used against him. Patman activating in from ropes, and it's a huge crunch there from GE. Great reaction.
What a beautiful collapse. So quick to make sure that these players don't get all that space towards Heaven. And Javi just sitting on site, aware in Heaven that they can't be pushed up. And now GRQ just going to try to get one. He might meet Autumn here, but Autumn hears him running around. The pick onto GRQ. Man, this is looking so good for GE. This next gun round, though, it's going to be a really big telltale if all gamers can figure out how to adapt to this.
Yeah, I think both of these maps have been pretty tight, honestly. I don't think either one of these teams... It could kind of be a weird situation, like... You think regionally, playing against a team that you haven't really played before, the veto can get a little bit weird sometimes, but I think both of these teams kind of ended up with maps that they were quite comfortable on. All gamers for sure knew their way around Sunset, despite not playing it in a while, and like I said, I mean, credit to all gamers for backing themselves. You're going to be confident on one of your best maps, but like I said, GE have been playing this map since... every iteration of this current roster, going back to the start of last year, has loved this map. Autumn on this deep A info line. Oh, has a little bit of a greeting with Bai there, but it's not for too long.
Flash into B Heaven, pushing Crystal off the angle, but still, that operator from Autumn going to push all the way up. But these 4 players from All Gamers are falling back. They're trying to crunch onto him. The jump peak not going to be able to get him, and Autumn being pushed back. That rope is going to be heard. The satchels, the follow-up! But Kira unable to get the pick. Patman, beautiful support onto his duelist, and now the opening, it's gone. Fangir trying to get into Heaven, trying to get anything, but they're not going to give it to him.
Yeah, it's going nowhere fast. Just a sliver of a timing there for all gamers, but Patman says, please come into my loving arms. I've got you, bro. Off angle from Crystal is phenomenal. All over that one after a bit of a mess in a similar position. And Patman, he has read this to a T. Easy one onto Fangir. And all gamers stuck up inside of B Heaven. Harvey from a nice off angle there. Takes a chunk out of Shrimp, who has got nothing really left to work with. Can't heal himself. He's heard the rope. And Patman will swing him regardless there. Not necessary, but he's here to send a message, as he often is. Patman is the epitome of confidence, and I think that's the perfect example of it.
He's been playing phenomenal. I think, the power of friendship, holding your friend's hand as they're trying to run away.
See, that's what he learnt in Paper X.
Yes.
They always say that, you know. And then some things
ये
happen.
स्ट्रॉबेरी का गई लगता है, ये इसका नहीं आ रहा है.
140, 150 cupping.
Trying to follow up. I really like the confidence from Kira, at least to try to satchel and chase. I think that was a good call, but they just weren't ready, and the Viper wall didn't go up in time either. And now, gun round once again. Last round of this half, trying to get it online. 5 rounds is pretty good for your attack side, but you definitely want to try to get that one more. Just the Seekers and the Omen online for all gamers. But Udo, he has that rocket. Autumn, beautiful positioning down mid.
It's a cheeky off angle. And Autumn has seen one of those before back home for sure. Not too worrisome for him. And a little dink from Patman. On to Fangir, who was trying to walk out A main here with Bai. They've both been caught by the seas. You can't blame Patman for trying to capitalize, but that's where Fangir will rip the map wide open. It's not really super clear about how AG are going to put the pieces together here, but that is exactly it. Spike passed over to GRQ, and he's going to TP over towards A. Seeker's coming out as well here. AG very much trying to feel this one out.
Getting that spike down, but the Seekers is going to catch Autumn. Bai also turning around, looking at the right time. Udo going with that rocket. Going to pick off Shrimp. That's a big pick. 4v3 now, but Kira, he's all the way on an island towards mid, a late flank. He has to speed up because these players, they're starting their retake elbow. Paranoia coming out, Fanger with a pick. All of a sudden the trades are down for all gamers. And a really nice crossfire onto site.
Yeah, for sure. I think some great off angles being played there by all gamers, and a great paranoia timing out of elbow. Gave GE too much to deal with, despite being a little bit disjointed. Very impressive at how quickly they put that round together. There was 2 players caught by a season aim, and you get a pick on the A side of the map. The rest of the team are in completely different postcodes. But passing that spike over to the Omen, who has the ult available, really helped them streamline and put that together. Similar to Sunset, there really is not too much separating these two teams as we head into the second half.
Yeah, all gamers really good at punishing the second that they get that first pick. It's been really nice to see Patman obviously exuding confidence, maybe a little bit too much in that last round, going for that 1v1.
Yep.
The seize was there, but still, it's risky, especially when you know that you have no players around you to support.
Yeah, you live by the sword, not by the sword. I think for Patman, that kind of experience is not really going to sway him too much. He's just going to keep doing what he always does.
I think it makes sense, though, because if he doesn't do that one round where he got that 3K supported Autumn on his fallback, I think it makes a lot of sense. But now, this is going to be where it shows which team has done their homework, which team has done a lot with their preparation, because 6-6 pistol is going to be super important. Global Esports, they've been really successful with their pistols. They lost that second round earlier in this game. And whoever wants to get ahead and just start to snowball for the second half, it's going to be so important.
And for all gamers, would love to just close out this series that has been pretty strugglesome for them so far. Sunset was not a slam dunk by any stretch of the imagination, and Split is heading in much the same direction. One of the teams that will probably have some pretty good representation across some of the other games here at EWC. The Crossfire team's pretty good. That's what I've been told a few times.
Yeah.
Can't say I've ever watched a game of Crossfire before, but that's what I heard on the grapevine.
I'm really looking at all gamers here because I hyped them up a little bit too much, I think, the beginning of this matchup. They've won this map every single time they've played it in the qualifiers, and so far the 6-6 scoreline, it's not convincing me, just showing me that these teams are really neck to neck.
That's what I was saying.
I wasn't convinced, but hey,
there wasn't much to convince by it, to be fair.
That's true.
GE now on the attacking side. Straight up the guts. Fangir, not the player that you want to be seeing on the other side of that one. He's going to join up with GRQ on this B site, and they'll just play retake here. All gamers have very quickly mobilized. They're going to retake B heaven control and make this a little bit easier to digest here if possible. Satchel out. They want to clear middle. GE haven't put that spike down. Nice right click from Harvey to start things off. Bai with the quick entry, but GE are starting to punish some of this flood from AG. Spike hasn't even gone down yet. Patman finally putting that down as GE have got themselves a man advantage.
The heal, healing up his team. 3 players though. 2 of them going towards heaven. The spam through the smoke onto Javi. That's going to be annoying. Udo is right below this rope. They're looking to drop with those nades. The flash finally online for Shrimp. Uses it. Drops. Spots. Udo unable to get anything. Fangir with 3. Kira with a beautiful shot onto Crystal. And all of a sudden this round has flipped on its head.
Oh, just all it took there from all gamers, really. Udatan under the rope, needed to at least take one with him and make all gamers' life a little bit more difficult from that. All coming from the same angle. But Fangir has yet again, in a pistol round, done something illegal. 3K from him, that spam kill onto Harvey. Honestly, just brings tears to your eyes. You're hoping for a third map.
Oh, that was like the last bullet too. He's just spamming, and just the bullet as he's turning away gets the kill.
It's rough. All gamers will be happy with it, though. Starting off this defensive side in a good position. The first pistol they've been able to glean for themselves in this game so far.
Good job. Good job.
Lots of noise towards this lane here. The orb getting tapped. GRQ taking a nice bit of damage, though. Down to 72.
GE making themselves look really scary in B. Just applying a little bit of pressure to unsettle all gamers before they go link up with Crystal, who has been chilling with his feet on the coffee table outside of A. Couple of players here for all gamers. They're just running the orb so far, really trying to min-max that showstopper as quickly as possible. Wall does get dropped, but Harvey is very much on his own there. And the rest of all gamers have arrived to the party, and it's a great time so far. GE not really getting too much done until you get a little bit of messiness from Shrimp, but one kill is not really going to trouble all gamers too much. You're happy with that anti-eco.
Yeah, you just want to make sure that next time for GE on that execute, nobody's just going out alone. That's a little scary for Javi. Getting out of that smoke, no one able to follow up. The explosion wasn't really there for them. Pop play through that smoke just wasn't there either. I think now looking at all gamers, this bonus round, they've been somewhat aggressive before when they've played this. Have a good idea, good plans going into it. Full gun buy from GE. There are 4 players outside of this A, playing really passive, holding. This is what they did all of last map, especially anti-thrifty. But Bai's going to be playing it safe all the way back on A's side while 4 of his players are grouped up towards mid. I say he's safe, but he jumps back into spawn, getting picked off and Autumn. I really like that GE aren't scared to take the rest of that space. Full sight now, getting that spike down. 4 players still in mid from all gamers. It's going to take a while for them to come back to it.
Can't really feel for Bai there. I mean, he walks into traffic. The red man was very much present. So, bit of natural selection, unfortunately. As all gamers organize themselves for a little bit of a flank. Harvey, who was trying to apply some pressure to in the middle of them earlier on in the round, will get hit by the guiding light. Going to reply with a paranoia, but that doesn't really unsettle all gamers too much. Crystal putting up the wall, zoning with the snake bite. Trailblazer and paranoia will push him back. Patman, they're aware of him in the corner here. They're going to try to push him out. Guiding light and paint shells to follow up. All gamers are scaling in pretty nicely here, but the rest of GE pushing straight through that dark cover on A main. And Fangir, I couldn't even tell you what he was looking at there, quite honestly. He's going to go down to the spike, and GE anti-bonus converted, but not without some losses.
2 guns down, not going to be too harsh on them. Still going to be able to full buy for that next round. And now GE going to be a little bit happier. Trying to understand how they want to play this map. That 4-1 tends to work for them. Maybe we're going to see a little bit more mid control here. Trying to bait out that Sky Util. I just really like the way that all gamers has been playing well together. The operator online for Fangir as well. He's been doing absolutely phenomenally this whole game. 18 and 11. The first peak, though, going to be towards that B. He's not going to do anything way too aggressive, just holding passively. And for GE, using that prowler, getting information, but falling back towards that mid.
I mean, this has just been their MO, really. A little bit of pressure in the early round. See if AG do kind of react with anything. You were kind of pointing out some of the aggressive tendencies from all gamers at the best of times, and I think GE are well aware of that. Both of these teams have been playing pretty slow on attack so far in this series, and once again, it's another 1-4 here for GE, but they might walk straight into the operator.
All gamers slow? Did we not watch?
तो 90 पिंग अकेला इशू नहीं है ना?
Yeah, true. That the first half they were pretty good.
दूसरा इशू ये है कि मैं जिस माउस से खेल रहा हूँ नॉर्मल माउस है.
These players, he's gonna hear that raise Roomba, beautiful flick onto Autumn, and now these players flooding into sight for all gamers, ready to get the pick. GRQ getting Udo
वो टाइमिंग रहता है ना क्या कहते हैं तो वही बोलिए.
Absolutely decimated. The spike has been dropped.
इतने टाइम में वो रिएक्ट करते हैं तो वो वही स्लो है इसका.
Reaggressive here, retaking, almost got the pick through the smoke. Left in a 1v4.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, he was the A lurker earlier on, and they wanted to set him up for a bit of a lurk play in the mid round, but there was no mid round. AG passing the test nicely there. They'll go through this round with 4 guns up. GE, I don't know if their economy can really handle this here. 2 players looking pretty poor. Gonna have to ask some of the other boys to help them out, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like what we've seen from them, though, is really good orb farming. And Udo, one-off rocket. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get it on him. Try to do some sort of quick play off of that, or at least a pop execute. Try to get that round under their belts.
I don't think AG would be either. Be well aware GE will want to be going for those, and this is just one of the best maps to kind of punish that guy. I mean, he's just showing off at this point.
That shot was nasty.
Very something-esque. Is not too surprising given where Fangir comes from.
Oh my god. No high five is crazy. Ah, there it is. Saved.
No high five until the game is done.
This round, though, 2 rifles. The side of GE, their economy is a little bit rough. They will be able to buy next round, though. The op still online for Fangir. He has all of B main, but these players are going super fast towards B.
Yeah, a lot of bandits in tow here. Kira made a bit of a meal of that one, but good thing Fangir is chilling on the B side. B main is dirty, though, I would assume. And so, of course, Fangir will be a little bit concerned about that.
Imagine
Reposition back to B main. Still so scared of this B heaven. This might be the read. AG might be able to get this pick here. That's going to be so much information, especially if they see this raise. Udo walking into this crosshair, but the pick, nothing. He gets a nice tag onto Crystal, 29 HP. The execute, they're going in.
Oh, it's a good pick from Autumn. Needed to check that corner. That could have been a bit of a disaster. What a satchel from Udatan. Operator on the ground in towards spawn side, but GE not overcooking this one. They've got a lot of good ults to work with now. Showstopper on Udatan. Crystal could get the pit down if necessary. Out comes the rocket. GRQ, not even sure if he saw him in the corner there. I don't know where that page shells is going, but Bai is under a lot of pressure. And as such, will fall to Udatan, who has just cracked that round open for GE. And look at all of the guns they picked up as a result. This is massive for the attackers.
Yeah, the winning condition for all gamers there was just Fangir getting that shot off on B main. But also Kira playing so close, a little bit rough. Especially when you know that they're on that low buy, instantly getting punished. Crazy round here from GE, but I really like the reads. Definitely scary coming back into that B main. They knew the op was set up somewhere, but a nice gamble, especially because they caught off Kira.
I mean, that is a calling masterclass from Javi. They are playing a very similar comp themselves, and they know how to play around that B main operator. Something that has been piloted many, many moons ago by Paper Rex. Patman knows his way around this comp. They know the theory and how to deal with it, and I think that's a perfect example of them just really utilizing all of the strengths of the comp that AG are trying to employ and using it against them there.
And a timeout now coming in from the side of all gamers. They're obviously going to be upset with that one. Feels a little bit like deja vu from that last map, pausing after getting thrifty.
That's a round that loses you the game.
True. And now, they've usually had a good result off of these timeouts, just knowing what they have to clean up. But GE, the confidence. I love that they're still so confident no matter what they're doing. They were down, but it didn't matter. If I'm all gamers, though, I'm not sweating too hard. I feel like their general macro on the defensive side has been working really well for them. Again, just whiffing a couple shots, but also playing a little bit too close. They didn't have time to re-clear that B heaven once they did take it with their thrifty. So it's just an unknown place for them. The rotates just weren't correct. The positioning just wasn't there in time. Now we're going to see a low buy from the side of all gamers.
Yeah, a bit of a mixed bag. Trying to min-max the money to go a little bit deeper into this game. It's still got plenty of legs in it. GE, great economy. And we were talking about how many rifles they picked up in just that round previous. 4 stack over here towards B early on. Autumn dodges the boom bot nicely. And there's no Sky there for GE, so he won't be able to get healed up as we go deeper into this round. You can see GE on the other side of things. They were looking to really punish aggression on the extremities, and this is a classic Patman move on an anti-eco, just walking straight through the middle of the map.
That dog might be able to spot him out, though. Sees him in ropes. Fangir getting the pick onto Patman, and again, the punish.
Yeah.
But these players, they're zooming into the safe side, trying to get it.
He is straight up not having a good time, bruv. Crystal gonna put the pit down. They're really trying to dig their heels in. Autumn is cripplingly low from earlier, and that's an operator going down. Showstopper going into the side. GE, this is a pretty big fumble after a massive thrifty in just the round previous. AG take a timeout and respond with one of their own.
Beautiful timeout call. Going all the way back, getting the read as well onto Patman. They've known and they've done their homework to see that his tendencies are to walk at mid. Getting that pick was beautiful. The re-clear Shrimp, beautiful with the util as well.
I mean, I don't know, man. I just, it's illegal as someone from Pacific to question Patman because he's just so good. But yeah, some of the rounds this series, there's been some great ones. There's been some not so great ones, and that one was unfortunately more of the latter. One dealt with by Kira, GE. They do have a follow-up buy to this one. Autumn's found GRQ, but Kira able to safeguard ropes for the meantime. Oh my god, Patman has dodged the Trailblazer. That is perfection. Kira's found Harvey in the meanwhile. This is so disjointed from both sides, but Patman, a little bit unhappy with how that last round went, is starting to take this one over. Spike being picked up now by Crystal. As the Prowler hasn't cleared out by, that's not the timing that Patman was looking for, and now we're into a 2-on-2.
Operator with knives online for Fangir if he wants to pop those. The op and knives fight potentially here because Autumn's also set up. A lot of delay. The orb, making sure that spike gets planted and just holding this right side of heaven. They're going to be able to spot each other out. The timing on these scopes. Not seeing Jet's head. Autumn hearing those knives getting popped. A little bit spooked. Popping his. 2v2.
Oh, the drop down. Punished by Crystal and by under too much pressure there. GE able to pick themselves up another round after a little bit of an upset in the round previous. We, had some messiness, has to be said, but good recovery from GE.
Question Patman's timing. Look at that round.
That's what I'm saying. You can't question it. You can't question it because then he does this.
He dodged the dog through the smoke.
Could you ever tell him to stop? No. There is no stopping.
I mean, he wins rounds like that. I would never tell him to stop. The op online, though, for Autumn, going for an A Heaven pick this time.
Yeah.
Fangir is actually about to peek into it.
Oh, this could not be good news here for Autumn. It would be a cracker of a shot if he comes away with it, but that angle is far too favorable for Fangir. Udatan also spotted outside of A. Throws out his paint shells. He's seeing a lot of green on his screen, and I'm not talking about the new Shrek movie. Shrib now finds himself a pick, but he doesn't even clock onto the fact that Harvey's just TP'd into the back of the site, which is not ideal at all. Now GE definitely have a chance in this round.
Using that smoke, that dark cover, tapping the spike, trying to find any numbers advantage, anyone giving them that peek. But of course, All Gamer is going to play with so much discipline. Autumn, Fangir, going with that op. Spotting, not going to catch anyone off guard. Nice off angle here from Patman. Now the flank.
Op being swapped over to GRQ. They're going to kick this one off with the paranoia, and Kira will almost certainly dive into the site. Harvey can't see a thing, wants to play that close angle. He's been spotted out. The Cloudburst is maybe helping him a little bit, but not enough. Patman only able to come away with one, and that is perfection for All Gamers.
Animation है गन का.
All the high percentage pieces of utility exactly where you'd want them, and as such, an easy retake. GE, I've got to be sweating now.
They got to figure out how to shut down Fangir, man. He's just been having such a good game. He's won that hot battle now 2 rounds in a row. Able to pick him off.
And a timeout for GE here. Feels like we're going into the dying hours of this series unless they can show some resilience. In a very, very back and forth game indeed against an All Gamers who look like they're in pretty good form. Like, game against Heretics, I felt like I was seeing some good stuff for them. We've talked about how they've been pretty good in China so far. Great kickoff, and just missing out there in stage 1 to go to another international.
For me, I'm really surprised with their map pool because All Gamers, they've kind of had a history of not having the deepest map pool, not the best at rounding out what they can play, but now we've seen their Sunset. We saw their Haven versus Team Heretics, which was one of those maps that we were really questioning a long time ago. And it's just so often now that we've seen their playbooks. They've done a really good job this off time when they did not qualify for Masters London. They managed to do a lot of really good work on their fundamentals, a lot of making sure they're studying and putting in the work to study and have these setups on these maps. And now 11-9. Kind of a weird buy, mixed buy here on the side of Global Esports. 2 rifles. Looking a little rough.
Let's see what they can come up with. Quick one over towards the B side of the map. Fangir on the line, scanned out by the
एक
Horde
दो
and pushed away by
तीन
the
चार
utility. That's a
पाँच
decent entry on in there for GE with a 1-for-1 onto GRQ. Kira on the same line, spotted out there. The dark cover going to obscure his vision as Patman gets this spike down. Oh no, it's missed heaven. There is a bit of a gaping gap in the smokes there for GE. It's been thrown a little bit too quickly. Dink onto Fangir. He's lucky to be alive. I gotta be honest here. Yutatan not seen by the Boombot, but will be by the Trailblazer as he tries to zone them away with the satchels. Still a 4-on-4 here. AG really struggling to break through on this retake until Kira finds an entry. Great reply from Patman. That gives him the Nightfall, and I don't think that AG can complete this retake now. Shrimp's the only player high on HP. That's a decent angle for him to take that peek, but still not good enough. One tap in reply for Patman, and Fangir will get an exit, but that's all he'll have access to. Double digits now for GE.
Fangir unable to get that first pick on B main once again. He struggled with that one angle throughout this game. And GE, they're really using that to their advantage, going really quick. I really want to see them do something similar, maybe on the A side with their because it feels like every time they're on the 50, they have a lot more confidence. And now going into this next round, I'll be interested to see what they change up here for all gamers. Fangir, he's had success towards mid. He's struggling a little bit just with that B main pick. When he falls back into sight, he manages to do a good job, but then the setup just falls apart. He's staying towards that B. They're worried they're going to do that again, but instead it's a really fast A split.
Kira opens it up well. Yutatan down early. Autumn looking to try to follow up on the fact that they've lost the opening pick, but Shrimp has got Kira covered. Healed up in the corner despite the fact that he's vulnerable for the snake bite, and it's just not comfortable enough. Autumn, I'm surprised he comes away with that one. The satchel was definitely making him uncomfortable. GRQ smoked off for the time being. GE forced to slow this one down.
Slowing it down, trying to see if there's any overextension here from the side of all gamers. They're not going to give it to them though. Fangir has full mid control. That Prowler is going to get Shrimp. Nothing too crazy. Falls. GRQ still has a Paranoia online. Patman really trying to get Shrimp to peek out of that corner. The re-clear though towards A Heaven is going to get delayed as Bai puts up his wall, uses that molly as well. The snake bite. So much time wasted here. All gamers doing a good job of baiting.
They're well aware of where GE are. 30 seconds on the clock and you're going to go around the world to beat.
30 seconds.
I mean, they were just clearing out the flank, I guess. Both teams well aware of each other's movements here. Shrimp into the back of the site. Bai with the jump spot will confirm GRQ. It's a little bit of a messy spray, but the Paranoia looks pretty good, and all gamers really on the back of that. Series point for them.
Again, these setups from all gamers are so clean. I really like to see it off the back of those first initial peaks. I really like that they hear that satchel going fast towards A Heaven. Immediately the answer, the crossfire, Kira with that rocket, the setup as well with Shrimp, the healing through the snake bite, the satchel just to delay a little bit longer. No overextension here by Shrimp as well, enabling him to just delay for so long. Patman using all his utility to try to clear him out from sight, to try to bait some sort of peek, and it just didn't work. And now all of a sudden this last potential round, low buy, weird buy, forced buy from Global Esports.
Yeah, they're shoving their way through the middle of the map to meet up with Crystal. Yutatan is one off the showstopper, but he's lost Patman in the meantime. Straight through the snake bite. Rocket's out now, but he's been plucked from the air. What a shot from Fangir. And he's hungry for more. Didn't hit that one onto Crystal. He's just sitting in the snake bite. But we'll choose to meet up with the rest of the boys. All gamers on the brink of closing this one out unless you get something outrageous from Autumn and Crystal here for Global Esports. Heal coming through from Shrimp. Another warning shot from Fangir. GE just continuing to tap the spike, just praying for a mistake from all gamers, but nothing's being given here. Autumn on the line, dealt with by Fangir. All down to Crystal in a 1-on-4. He cannot see a thing. Needs to pick up the spike here. It's a high-low on one side, and op on the other side. And it looks like he's walking in towards his death. All gamers holding the line, chipping down at him. It's a nice double, 25 seconds now. And Kira and Fangi are going to give Crystal some respect and some space to work with. If he could get the spike and get the plant down, then he will actually have a pit, and this is a very winnable 1-on-4. This could be one of the best ones you've seen in quite some time. I cannot believe that shot hasn't connected from Fangir. Jump spot in from Kira. Another fake plant. He's just peppering away at him. He has to commit to the plant now, and Kira will go on in, try to cancel it, and he'll be successful. It's an anticlimactic end there for all gamers, but good enough. And GE there, missing out on an opportunity to go through to that progression match, will be knocked out of EWC.
GE at least redeeming a lot of what they have, showing up really well this matchup. They just
चलो भाई ए बघ ना तुझं तो ताप आला तू बघ ना अभ्यासाचा तुझा आणि
हार गया जी, हार गया।
हार गया।
अरे उसने क्या मस्त 2 पीस निकाला, फिर इतना फालतू टाइम पास करने लग गया ना वो बीच बीच में। उसको प्लांट मारना है, हाँ कुछ 10 सेकंड है, टाइम पास करने लग गया। मतलब वो अभी वो था वो पुश करने के लिए, तो ये लोग मारने के लिए हाँ ऐसे मारेंगे वैसे मारेंगे, और 4 सेकंड पे ना 4 सेकंड में प्लांट करने बैठ गया, तब तक उसने पुश मार दिया ऊपर से। और तो भी उस मतलब जी के बंदे ने उसको मारा, पर टाइम तो खत्म हो गया ना। 4 सेकंड में कौन सा, अभी 4 में से 3 2 1 सेकंड पे प्लांट करने बैठ गया था।
वाह,
गया भाई जी बाहर, लोअर ब्रैकेट से भी बाहर गया, एलिमिनेटेड। तो क्या करते, ये वाला स्ट्रीम पे ही कंटिन्यू नहीं कर रहा हूँ मैं, सोच रहा हूँ ये स्ट्रीम EWC का रहने दे।
ओके,
सेकेंड स्ट्रीम अपन इसका करेंगे। बेस्ट ऑफ 3 था एलिमिनेशन, 2-0 तो एजी निकल गए। क्या करूँ ये स्ट्रीम का फिर?
रहने दे, दूसरा चालू करते हैं, या फिर कर सकते हैं ना, टाइटल चेंज करना है और वही सब चीजें करना है।
नहीं, इसको एंड करता हूँ और
ओके,
नया करते हैं अपन, जो ओरिजिनल है वो। ये तो जी वर्सेस एजी, ये तो अच्छा था ना। चलो फिर इसको करता हूँ मैं एंड।